Larson returns to Nashville Speedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And welcome into the Thursday edition of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Some of us in Nashville, Tennessee. Others of us in Tampa Bay, Florida. Joe Rexrode, what's going on?
Well, it's a different Wi-Fi, so we'll see how it works out. I never like when like a hotel has just one Wi-Fi option and it's open. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like I like the, here's the super high speed option, which as someone who's stayed in a lot of this particular chain of hotels would be free anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just an open Wi-Fi network. So we'll see how it goes. One of these days, it's just going to be total, just a disaster,
Hopefully that's not today. So far, so good. Michelle, what's going on?
Doing good this morning, guys. Got a great night of sleep last night. I am almost in full vacation mode. We've got this show today and the show tomorrow and then vacation. It's my first vacation day I've taken, and I am so excited.
Big time Catter Day coming up on Saturday.
Oh, big time Catter Day. Hopefully the weather, it doesn't look like the best, my dad said, but it'll be better than here because it was chilly this morning, fellas.
Wait, now, what's the vacation?
On Monday.
You're not doing the show on Monday.
On Monday, yes. Monday
I'll
be
vacation on the day we're talking brackets. Oh,
she's abandoning us.
Oh, Michelle.
I'll call in from the pool.
There you go.
That's nice. Joe Rexrode, big win for Vandy last night in a game that I don't know that Georgia even showed up to play in. Looked like it was pretty much over from the start last night for Vanderbilt, but nonetheless, nice showing from Vanderbilt against Georgia yesterday. They'll take on Alabama later today, but not great for the Bulldogs last night. Yeah,
I mean, obviously you're talking about a team that knows its coach is being fired, so I didn't sit there. I wasn't thinking, okay, these guys have completely given up. Like I thought that they were, they were trying. I mean, they went 12 minutes and 11 seconds to end the first half without a field goal. And I swear to you, and I mean, it got to the point on press roll where we were just like, holy cow. I mean, they really did have like 5 or 6 that absolutely should have gone in that didn't. Like, it was incredible. But yeah, then the defense was bad too. And Vanderbilt got whatever shots it wanted to, eventually hit 14 threes. I mean, Vanderbilt cleared the bench to the point where, I mean, I like Max Edelman. I knew Max Edelman. I wasn't even familiar with everyone who played in the game. Freshman walk-on Graham Colton. Okay. Didn't know who that was. Yeah. Busts a 3. Like, wow. But the real help there for Vanderbilt, of course, is if you're trying to do anything, you have to play on a Wednesday in these tournaments, you're going to be worn down if you actually get deep into the tournament. Well, it's pretty good when you can basically play everybody about 20 minutes or less. Rodney Chapman only 10, and he played really well. You can see again the difference he makes. So they're pretty good shape here to make a run at Alabama tonight.
How did Rodney Chapman look in your mind in terms of his hamstrings and physically holding up? Like, as you said, not a ton of playing time last night, but how did he look in your mind? And what does that mean for him as they move forward here?
Big key to me was a couple times when he was really pressed, when he was, basically attacked on, and he was on defense. And I thought you could see like he was able to explode laterally and stay in front of his guy. So I thought he looked okay. I was told, he hasn't really even been getting treatment the last couple days much. So, obviously there's a big knock on wood with him. You're talking about torn hamstring. You're talking about a guy who's had meniscus repairs on both knees since the summer. And, he's putting it all into this weekend. But to be able to just go 10 minutes, no incident, and then come to the next day, that's big for Vanderbilt and him.
Yep, big deal. And now it sets up a game tonight at 7:30 here local time against Alabama. And we talked about Alabama a lot, Joe. They can, if they're hot, they can hang in there and play with anybody in the country. And if they're not, they can probably lose to anybody in the country. And this is a game where Vanderbilt had them beat a couple of weeks ago and let them off the hook. And you don't know what sort of Alabama team is going to show up tonight. If they're hitting threes, they're really difficult to hang with. But another opportunity for Vanderbilt tonight. If you can get this win, if you're Jerry Stackhouse and Vanderbilt tonight, you're probably sitting in decent position for the NIT.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to. I just have to think the NIT, maybe in a lot of years, like a Vanderbilt that's around 500 wouldn't be that attractive. But I would think that Pippen would be. So, but we'll see on that front. But also, of course, if you win tonight, then you get a shot at Michelle's Cats. And Vanderbilt actually was right there with them in Lexington a few weeks ago. So. Who knows?
Then I definitely would not be coming in Tuesday. If that happened, I would have to go off Twitter for days.
Like if Vanderbilt were to beat, you guys are coming to the games. You're coming to the games? What days?
Just Saturday, but both of the games Saturday. So the semifinal games.
If Vanderbilt were to beat Kentucky Friday night,
and
just
listen,
imagine.
It's basketball. Like I'm not ruling it out. But
yeah, it's not impossible. I mean, we'll see if. Well, I mean, look. Alabama's favored to win tonight. Alabama certainly could beat Kentucky too. I mean, but that's part of the risk of going to a conference tournament. So
she doesn't even want to talk.
Good
about
luck
it.
to you.
Listen, you got to risk it to get the biscuit. I'm not worried. Just a little.
Right.
It'll be fine. Everything's fine. We'll just see on Saturday. Okay. Okay.
It's the idea of playing 5 games in 5 days. Look, when you're that low of a seed in the tournament, the likelihood of you pulling that off is pretty low anyway. But like, how many times has this been done? Like, has there been a few instances of people going the whole way and playing 5 games in 5 days?
Well, the real famous one was Syracuse a few years ago. I think that was the Jerry McNamara team, right?
Yeah.
They did it. Yeah.
Great sound bites from Jim Boeheim on that time too.
Yeah.
Kentucky women's basketball just did 4, I think. 4 games.
Four. Yeah, and four's been done. A decent amount. That's a good question. I think there are other examples. There aren't a ton. There aren't a ton, for sure. So, and speaking of Syracuse, by the way, how about Buddy Boeheim punching a dude in the stomach and you're out of there?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Nice statement he released last night too. I was swinging my arm coming back up the court, and wasn't good.
No. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Great player, like tons of fun to watch, but you can't do it.
And they played Duke today.
People. Yeah.
So.
And what?
They played Duke today, and he can't play because he's suspended for the game. So.
Yeah. So probably weren't going to win anyway, but yeah.
What a coaching matchup that is, though. Whoever wins at the end, you can have a speech in front of the crowd and just tell everybody to shut up. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Well, that's the thing. Krzyzewski had his farewell tour, kind of spoiled. But Boeheim said he was retiring like 6 years ago, and he's still here.
He's still there.
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, man.
Hey. I heard the guys on DDC talking about this yesterday. Having Syracuse in the ACC is still weird. Like, I still miss the Big East. Big East was great stuff, man. That Big East tournament.
Absolutely. No, I know. It's wrong. It's wrong. It shouldn't be the case. The old Big East was amazing. It's like, the 80s biggest, but even, in the 2000s, with Pittsburgh was really good. And those, they had that tournament was always just, I don't know, something about it, just because probably it was at MSG. And now I'm sad.
That's what I'm here for. Just bringing the mood down on the show. We'll see if Vanderbilt can keep things going tonight against Alabama. Big win last night against Georgia and didn't have to spend a whole lot of minutes doing it either. So we'll see if how well that serves Vanderbilt tonight as they take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Joe, big day yesterday in the NFL as well. We'll get to that coming up on the other side. Some quarterback movement in the AFC South. We'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 1025, The Game.
At Cromwell Media, we stand united, both here in our country and abroad. The people of Ukraine are suffering, and we support them in this very difficult time. So stand with us for Ukraine and for all of those in need of support around the globe. We are ESPN 1025 The Game, ESPN 94.9, and Cromwell Media.
Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Automatically. Discover, something brighter. Learn more at discover.com/match.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and it's Conference Championship Week in college basketball, and FanDuel Sportsbook has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can place their first college basketball bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. SEC tournament time this week. The top four is pretty set. I think we'll see an upset along the way. Give me Arkansas to come out of this weekend with the championship. I like the Hogs to get it done, but you take it any way you want to take it, whether that's the Wildcats, maybe you like the Vols to win the tournament this week. Regardless of what you do, make sure you do it on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. The app is so easy to use. They're always hooking you up with great odds, so you can see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Sign up using promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is not withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway. Featuring the new Rogue ST drivers, Callaway's most stable driver ever, with tungsten speed cartridge, jailbreak speed frame, and AI flash face. Engineered for max speed and forgiveness. 4 different models to fit every golfer's needs. Think speed? Go Rogue. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit for the new Rogue ST drivers today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Since their doors opened in 1898 in England, Arkansas, Bank of England Mortgage has been providing down-home exceptional service. Bank of England's success is due to the talent of their loan officers and their access to hundreds of mortgage products at the industry's best pricing. Bank of England Mortgage has 3 Middle Tennessee locations ready to serve you. Go to BOE1214.com or call 615-823-1215. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. A wild week in the NFL continues yesterday, Joe Rexrode. Carson Wentz traded from the Indianapolis Colts to the Washington Commanders, the greatest name in the history of sports. The Colts received the Commanders' third-round picks in 2022 and 2023. The 2023 third-rounder can also become a second-rounder if Carson Wentz plays 70% of Washington's snaps. So teams also swapping second-round picks in 2022 as well. Colts going from 47 overall to number 42 overall. So Carson Wentz on the move. The Colts did not have to release him. They were able to trade him to the Washington Commanders. Joe, your reaction to, number one, somebody trading for Carson Wentz, and number two, him now, I guess, being the starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders. We'll see you later, Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, I mean, and the Colts were willing to eat $15 million, of course, to get rid of him. So yep. Zach Kiefer at The Athletic has a really good in-depth story. We're gonna have Stephen Holder on later. The Kiefer story, kind of why and when and everything, and basically right after the season, I think they decided they were done, and basically he was not a good leader. Essentially, I mean, look, you could. Again, not to get into a vaccine conversation, but just the whole way that went down over months, you could see how that would strain, things, when he in that organization, all the other players who did get vaccinated are like, gosh, our quarterback is like willing to, miss time, so you got that, but also just general, behind the scenes, according to the story, resistant to hard coaching, and things like that. It was really interesting because Frank Reich, as he said last week, he said, like, I stuck my neck out for him, for them to get him. Frank Reich is why they end up getting him. And it turns out to be one of the biggest mistakes of Chris Ballard's career. But as you said, they've been given the Commanders life raft here.
Yes, they have.
Look, I think Carson Wentz, I'm trying to think, who is he? There's like those players who are like, they people are always going to be enamored with them. Well, Clowney is kind of like this, right? It's like there's so much ability, and you watch some of the plays like, oh man, with Clowney, it's like, I mean, who can do that? Who's that big and that fast? But it's been pretty underwhelming for him for years now. But hey, I mean, I would say it's an upgrade for the Commanders. Maybe he'll be back in that wonderful NFC East and really, really get after it. But for the Colts, you're talking about 6 quarterback in 6 years to start the season. A different one will be, we think. Yeah, because actually another thing in that story is Sam Ehlinger, has a legit shot at the job. Imagine that one. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to go get a quarterback. But they've got now, because the Commanders took him off their hands, they didn't have to eat $15 million. I mean, they've got like $70 million in cap space.
Yeah.
So for as bad of a decision as this was for the Colts, I mean, they can go out on a spree right now if they want to.
Hey, I mean, we know how much Chris Ballard loves that cap space. Doesn't always love spending that cap space, but we know how much he loves having it. So good for them.
Look at me, everybody. Look at my cap space.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about your football team?
Oh, that's what you use that money on? How about that? But yeah, there's a lot of money out there for the Colts. Look, first off, I'm looking forward to the Carson Wentz revenge tour. He will play the Eagles twice next year, and will also play the Colts. So he'll get a shot at the Colts again next year too. So
nice.
Just something to keep in mind there. But now the AFC South quarterback picture looks like this: Ryan Tannehill, Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills, who may be head and shoulders above the competition, and Sam Ehlinger. That's your quarterback picture right now in the AFC South. So if you're the Titans, we've talked so much about Ryan Tannehill this offseason. I'm feeling pretty good about this division right now as things stand today, if I'm a Titans fan.
Yeah. I mean, Tannehill looks like, Elway in his prime right now relative to the rest of the division. So, but I'm assuming, yesterday on Jared versus Joe, which by the way, I won.
You did.
I will say Jared had a good point. Jameis Winston could actually be like, there's probably a higher upside with him. That's how I believe. I don't know if he quite said that, but he thought the worst case scenario would be that Jameis Winston signs with the Colts. I will say, Jimmy G is going to be, I think, the popular choice, and I would still probably expect that over anybody else. But Jameis Winston, to me, actually is more dangerous. We know the mistakes and all that stuff. Just like, Wentz and Garoppolo make some killer ones too, of course. But I still think Jameis Winston's really talented and really capable of having big games. And maybe he has benefited from the last couple of years being around Sean Payton and things like that. He's still young. That actually could be interesting for the Colts, I think.
It could be very interesting, but to me, there's not an option that's out there if I'm a Titans fan that scares me. Like, I'm not scared of Jimmy G. I'm not scared of Jameis Winston. I guess the one thing that you would worry about, and this is not even to me something that you worry about next year. The one thing you worry about is maybe the Colts find a quarterback in the draft that ends up working out and they get their next guy. But again, they don't have a first round pick. So I don't really know how they're going to do that right now, unless they just, look, it's not like people don't draft quarterbacks in later rounds and they turn out good. Tom Brady was a 6th rounder. Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder. So like, it happens. You can find quarterbacks later in the draft. But to me, that's what I think I'm scared of more than anything. If I'm a Titans fan, is the Colts maybe finding their quarterback of the future in the draft. I agree of the options. Like, if I'm the Colts, I'd probably rather just roll the dice with Jameis Winston than I would Jimmy G. But neither one of those guys is going to scare me if I'm a Titans fan.
Yeah, well, and the Colts, and that was my worst case scenario, is that the Colts do exactly that they've got someone in mind, they find that person, and now they're back to young quarterback, stable young quarterback on the rookie deal with the cap space they have already. That could be a heck of a combination. And they could get into the first round. Ballard, of course, has gotten out of it a few times, but they could get back into it. All that cap space, just load up on football players and trade them away, move up. It's possible.
Well, the thing that I would be interested to see is, like, how involved is Indy going to get in the wide receiver race in free agency? Because, like, we've talked about this, Michael Pittman Jr., I think, is a good player. I think they've got some decent wide receivers. They don't have anybody that really scares you that much if you're a defense. Like, they need to get a big time wide receiver, regardless of who their quarterback is. And, with that money, I would assume they're going to go out and pay somebody a lot of money, whether that's Allen Robinson or whoever that ends up on the free agent market. So I'm interested to see how that transpires. But again, if let's say Jimmy G ends up being the quarterback for the Colts, like, I know some people think that he's a big upgrade over Carson Wentz. I don't. Like, I don't think there's really much difference at all between Jimmy G and Carson Wentz. I really don't.
I agree. I think with Wentz, you have a little bit more creativity and ability to use your feet and make plays. You probably also have, like, the death turnovers for Wentz are, like, maybe a little bit a higher level than Jimmy G, but boy, Jimmy G's got some doozies himself. So
yeah, he does.
No, honestly, I guess I look at Wentz a little differently. Really, even like reading Zach's story, the fact that he didn't take full advantage of this kind of new start and everything and actually botched it in multiple ways. I guess I would probably pick Jimmy G over that. It seems to me like Jimmy G was very respected with his teammates in the organization. So in that way, I think that you would be better with Jimmy G. But I agree, like, as a player, I think I might give Wentz still a small edge over Jimmy G.
Well, and it seems pretty obvious because, that was some of the same stuff at his time in Philadelphia towards the end there of, not being coachable and, not being a great guy in the locker room. That was what the story was with Carson Wentz before he got to Indy. And now we're sitting here talking about, him not responding to hard coaching very well. It kind of seems like Carson Wentz may be a little sensitive out there. And, like, at some point, if you're him, don't you have to realize, all right, I've gone through 2 teams now that have discarded me and thrown me to the side. Like, this is his last chance, in my mind, to be a starting quarterback with any sort of consistency in the NFL. Like, this is,
oh yeah,
you better take advantage of this if you're Carson Wentz. And I would hope that would also require some change on his part, because if your approach is just going to be the same as it was in Philly and Indy, it's probably not going to work out for you too well in a place where nothing works out in Washington.
Exactly. Including their attempt to, the guy they really wanted, because Russell Wilson was no way in hell going to approve a trade to the Commanders. That was their big plan. The big plan was Russ, but no thanks. No thanks. He's good. So he's going to Denver. But I mean, for the Commanders, it's at least like, if I'm a Commanders fan, which is funny to say anyway.
We'll never get old.
Commanders. I mean, I'm more interested in next year than I was.
Sure.
It's like, hey, the guy's got a lot. You can talk yourself into Carson Wentz. It doesn't, you can talk yourself into it. You can go watch a lot of stuff from last year. You can isolate certain games from last year and feel pretty excited about it. So
just go look at the stats. As Joe from Maryland on the text line, driven
good.
by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, points out, he says, being that I'm Joe from Maryland and I'm in Commander territory, the optimism about Wentz is unreal. All I'm hearing about is 27-7. And I'm telling people it's a trap. And it is. Joe is right. It is a trap. There's no question about it. But to your point, you look at those stats, like, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, baby. Yeah, he's going to be good.
Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
Warning everyone out in Maryland. Yeah. Yeah. Look, hey, what was the game at Arizona? He was great. I mean, he won that game for them. I mean, even the win at San Fran, hey, you know what? He recognized that all you got to do is throw it up, get a bunch of PIs, get out of there with a dub. Yeah. I mean, he had his moments. He was moving the ball with ease against the Titans before he decided to give them the game. That's the thing. Of those 7 picks, and then you mix in the fumbles, I mean, there was a lot of bang for the buck in those turnovers. I mean, they weren't just turnovers. They were, oh, my God, you just lost the game turnovers.
615-737-1025 on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll take your reaction to Carson Wentz being traded from the Indianapolis Colts to the Washington Commanders. Where do the Colts go from here? We'll continue that conversation coming up on the other side. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Allen's going to be taken down. It's Harold Landry, the sack master for the Titans.
Harold Landry is returning to the Titans.
There are signs that make me feel good about it.
The linebacker has agreed to a multi-year extension.
I think the Titans have identified themselves as a team in a window to win.
What's next for John Robinson and the Titans?
Are you going to go out and go get wide receivers and tight ends and say hi?
Keep it locked all off season for your best Titans talk
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Staples is evolving to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the Intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Get that luxury watch you've always dreamed of this weekend at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis is hosting a spectacular 3-day event featuring a huge selection of pre-owned Rolex watches. Yes! These are the timepieces you can't find anywhere, but Genesis has them. Daytonas, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejust, Sky Dwellers, and more. Come pick out your luxury pre-owned Rolex and get up to $3,000 in Genesis gift cards, plus 60-month special financing. Our buyers are on site for this event, so if you already own a Rolex and want to sell it, you'll get top dollar. Or trade yours for a different model. All Genesis luxury pre-owned Rolexes are hand-selected and rigorously inspected in pristine condition, and our selection has never been better. Don't miss this special pre-owned Rolex buy, sell, trade event at Genesis Diamonds this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Both locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Minnesota Wild this Sunday. Puck drops at 5 o'clock, but the party starts at 4:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at Headquarters Beercade downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
In growing companies, there are two kinds of CFOs. The one overwhelmed with manual processes, errors, and lack of control of the numbers, and the one who uses NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. With visibility and control of financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting, NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. The CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Head to netsuite.com/KJM for a special one-of-a-kind financing offer. netsuite.com/KJM.
Friday night, the Big Ten tournament is underway from New York City. We'll have quarterfinal action starting at 5:15
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
That the reality for Carson Wentz is he's got one season to save his career as a starting quarterback in the NFL now. Now that this trade has happened and the Colts have decided to move on from him, I think that this season coming for the Washington Commanders and him, it's the opportunity for him to save his career as a starter. And it's got to be in many ways shocking to him, staggering to him that this kind of happened, whether the writing was on the wall or not, that they actually moved on from him. Because going back to Frank Reich and in that system and in that coach that he has such a great relationship with, in many ways was supposed to revitalize the career. And I think, Laura, in some moments it did. We saw an on-the-field performance last year that for a 12-week stretch was pretty darn good. We've talked about the numbers from week 4, week 5 to week 16. He was top 5 in the NFL when it came to QBR. So Carson's got to look at this situation and go on the field. How can he, 6 years into his career, become that more consistent player that we saw for that 3-month stretch last year? Can he do that and get rid of the early season or late season struggles? And then, candidly, off the field, I have been outspoken that I don't think that this move was made strictly or in the majority of because of the performance on the field. Off the field, what is not clicking for Carson Wentz when it comes to his relationships in the locker room, when it comes to his leadership style? There has to be something going on when it comes to that for the Indianapolis Colts to go, you know what, we've had enough. And I think if he can figure that stuff out, I still believe that he's a starter in this league, but this is a make it or break it year for him.
That was Dan Orlovsky from ESPN, friend of the show, discussing Carson Wentz and his now third stop in his career, the Washington Commanders. Indianapolis trading Carson Wentz to Washington yesterday. Now Indy in the market for a quarterback as well. I say that, Joe. Maybe their plan is you're just going to roll with Sam Ehlinger. Maybe that's the way they want to go, man.
Maybe. You never know. And you know what? Maybe that'll work out great for him. He was good at Texas.
He was.
It's fun to watch.
He was. Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Kelton text again says, I don't think they would have traded him without a plan. Keyshawn, J. and Max said, try to get Matt Ryan from the Falcons. I don't know. Do you think the plan could be Matt Ryan? Like Jimmy G makes too much sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, I at this point, I think I would choose Jimmy G or Jameis Winston over Matt Ryan. I think because the thing is, like at some point you can't keep doing this every year, can you? I mean, they're kind of stuck in neutral with a good roster.
Yeah,
2 straight years the Titans have won the division that they used to. It just used to be their domain. And you need to pick someone who isn't just a Band-Aid, right? And now look, I don't know that Jimmy G or Jameis Winston are more than that. I don't know that they're even effective Band-Aids, but I think I'd go younger than trying to go get Matt Ryan right now. I didn't even really thought about that.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Get Pawpaw Phil out of retirement. He's coaching high school for a year. Just go get Phillip Rivers back in there.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Maybe they should have. Well, maybe they should have stuck with Phillip Rivers.
Well, maybe so.
But I hadn't thought about that one. I don't even really are the Falcons actively just trying to move? I mean, I know it's a huge number that Matt Ryan has right now. I mean, I suppose they're bad enough. I'm sure they'd be okay with someone taking them off their hands, right?
Well, since you don't have Calvin Ridley to throw the ball to, probably at some point. Now, by the way, Michelle just sent this in our group text, which I saw and laughed at and forgot about. So, Michelle, I'm glad you sent this.
Yeah, I laughed.
Darius Leonard yesterday on Twitter says, quote, "Here we go again. About to be 5 years with the Colts and 5 different quarterbacks. Thank you, Carson, for everything this year, my guy. Wish you nothing but the best." So nice subtle shot from Darius Leonard to start that tweet. Here we go again. About to be 5 years with the Colts and 5 different quarterbacks. It's a struggle.
That's nice. Well, subtweeting Irsay and Ballard there. I like it. Of course, what the heck happened to Darius Leonard in the Jacksonville game? What the heck happened to their entire team? I know Wentz stunk, but the whole team, it was like Georgia basketball last night. What is going on?
Well, when the Jags on the sideline and break it down with 1, 2, 3 grind, you're in trouble. Happened a few times last year. Wayne from Spring Hill on the text line says, "I think Wentz leads the league in underthrown balls, leading to defensive pass interference. That did become quite the strategy for Carson Wentz at some point last year."
Does it work or does it not work? That's my question.
I don't know. Ben from Cumberland City texting in says, "Colts fan. I don't know. I feel it'll be Jimmy G. The Colts are known to carry money and not spend a lot. Jimmy G and pairing Amari Cooper or Jarvis Landry, I think may work. Offense has to be run first, play action. Defense is good enough to cushion the offense." I don't think there's any question, regardless of who the quarterback is, I mean, they're going to run the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor. That is a couple of interesting names that Ben threw out there at wide receiver for Amari Cooper or Jarvis Landry. Obviously, it's not going well for Jarvis Landry in Cleveland. Amari Cooper expected to be released by the Cowboys. I think Allen Robinson's going to be a free agent as well. So there are guys out there that you could go get if you're the Colts. But regardless of who the quarterback wide receiver combo ends up being, they're going to run the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, actually, I think they actually need to tinker with that offensive line too. They also need to, I mean, a big thing for them last year, they didn't get after quarterback nearly as effectively. I mean, to Nico Autry makes a difference.
Yeah,
when he's on a football team or not on a football team. So they have other things. Yeah, Cooper could be interesting. Robinson, the free agent. You take Adams off the list. You take Godwin off the list.
Takes a hit.
What's that?
The wide receiver market takes a hit with those two off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's really not great. I mean, I'm going to be really interested to see what people think of and want to pay Will Fuller. I mean, you're just signing up for maybe a half season, of a guy. So, but Robinson, certainly, I would imagine that's going to be quite a sweepstakes for him, right?
Yeah, I would think so as well. Jim on the text line says, "Seems like a dumb move for Washington. Don't you think the Colts were going to release Wentz anyway? Feels like they just paid $500 for a used mattress from someone taking it to the dumpster." This is coming from Jim on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Well, clearly they were very motivated to have a new starting quarterback, and let's run. I don't know that it was. I hear what you're saying, but let's also remember how they've gone about their business since Dan Snyder is on the team. They do exactly stuff like this. What will get people excited? We got to have him. Oh, we got to have this guy. Got to have this guy. But if they really, really wanted him, then you make the trade and you don't have to battle with other teams for him. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, it's to take on the whole salary. I feel like maybe you could have split it with the Colts or something, and one of those picks turns into a second rounder. I mean, to me, if you're the Colts, you're phew, this is great. You get a couple third, you maybe get a second and a third out of this, dump the salary, I mean, for as much of a mistake as this was in retrospect, this is a pretty nice parachute from the Commanders,
which is pretty much right on brand with the Commanders
Yes.
as well. I mean, look, if you're them and you really like him, or at least you have to, I think if you're being honest with yourself, think if he gets to free agency and the Colts just release him and he can pick where he wants to go, like, is he choosing to go to Washington?
Exactly.
Maybe. I mean, like, Washington might have been the only team that offered him a starting quarterback job. I have no idea, but I don't think a whole lot of players around the league are lining up to say, you know what, I'd really like to play for the Washington Commanders.
Right. Like who would have been in on trying to get Carson Wentz? I guess you look at the usual suspects. I mean, you got what, Carolina?
Yeah. Maybe Tampa. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, what's up? What is New Orleans doing? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
There weren't a ton of options, but this way you guarantee.
Seattle.
Well, that's right. This way you guarantee that you get Carson Wentz. And hey, apparently, according to Joe from Maryland, a lot of excitement there. So good for them.
Well, hey, I mean, look at the NFC East right now. You've got Dak, you've got Daniel Jones, you've got Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz. Quarterback play just went up, man.
But you may have Mitch Trubisky added to that list.
Might. That'd be something. Give me a little Mitch Trubisky action with the New York Giants. A nice, fierce quarterback battle between him and Daniel Jones. Maybe that's where he could have gone. The Giants.
Yeah. One way or another, he's taken direct aim at the Eagles. That's the bottom line.
That's right.
They're going to rue the day.
Let's go back to the text line. Got a text that says, it always blows my mind how we look at how terrible of a decision it was for that contract the Colts gave Carson Wentz for his potential as a quarterback. And then a team like Minnesota thinks it's a great idea to turn around and do the same thing while we're all looking at them wondering what in the heck they are thinking. This is coming from an unnamed texter on the text line.
So you're talking about the Kirk Cousins?
I guess so.
Like the fully guaranteed aspect of it is, was interesting.
Pretty amazing.
I mean, let's not compare Kirk Cousins to Carson Wentz right now. Can you put a little respect on Cousins' name, just a little bit?
Hey, Cousins was pretty good last year.
He's been pretty good. He's a good quarterback. He's a middle of the pack good quarterback in the NFL. You think about just the absolute meltdowns that like Wentz has had in some of these guys. I mean, that's not Kirk Cousins. Now, granted, for what Minnesota paid, did they get what they wanted? No. They also have gotten bad on defense when, like a few years ago, they were able to go far with what's his name because they had an incredible defense, and I've already forgotten his name. Help me out.
I've forgotten his name too, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
God dang it.
He went to Denver after that, didn't he? As a starter.
Yes. You mind. I have old brain. Come on.
This is going to bother me.
Case Keenum.
Good gracious.
God.
How could we forget?
Look, if they had the same defense that they had with Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins would win like 12 games. But
yeah,
whatever.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Some moves made yesterday by the Tennessee Titans as well. We'll get into those coming up on the other side. It's conference championship week in college basketball, and FanDuel Sportsbook has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can place their first college basketball bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. It is SEC tourney time. Vanderbilt back in action tonight. I think I like Arkansas to get in there and get it done this weekend at the SEC tournament, but you take it any way you want to take it. Maybe you like the Vols. Whatever you do, do it on the FanDuel Sportsbook. The app is so easy to use. They're always hooking you up with great odds, so you can see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Sign up using promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I have it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
Is your job going nowhere? It's a new year. Time for a new career in IT. My Computer Career has slashed tuition, so what are you waiting for? Attend classes day or night, live online from the comfort of your home. Hands-on learning and lifetime career services help you succeed. And you could start your career in months, not years, even with no experience. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. It's not rocket science, it's mycomputercareer.edu.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Going to be joined by Cameron Wolf from the NFL Network coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the quarterback movement this week in the NFL. Also, his thoughts on Harold Landry re-signing with the Titans as well. That coming up at 7 o'clock. As always, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Let's go to our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Wayne from Spring Hill texting in, saying hashtag boomer brain. Hashtag boomer brain is what we were suffering from in the last segment when we couldn't figure out Case Keenum's name. So I think it's more of a shot at Rexrode than it is at me, but I'll take it. Hashtag boomer brain.
Listen now, that's the thing. I count on you and your young, malleable brain to immediately come up with Case Keenum. We know that I have, that's pretty good, boomer brain.
Listen, I've got boomer brain sometimes. Guys, it's early. It's not even 7 a.m. That's a fair excuse.
Yeah, that's true. Pre-7 a.m., I think there's got to be a little bit more grace, right?
Although it is 7:48 where Rexrode is, so.
Robby, why you got to call him out like that?
Just throwing it out there, man.
I still live my life on the best time zone, Central Time.
That is true. Joe, I think congratulations are in order to you today. What a big day it is here on the program. You know, we talked about Tierre Tart re-signing with the Titans yesterday, according to Field Yates. That report came out during our show. Logan Woodside signing with the Titans as well yesterday. But more importantly, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, another extension from the Titans yesterday as an exclusive rights free agent. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine back in there with the Tennessee Titans. Joe Rexrode, congratulations. Big day here on the program.
Yeah, where's all the haters?
Where's the button, Joe?
Oh, I don't know. Is it in my bag? I'll wear it here at the SEC tournament if I have it.
Maybe so.
Somewhere at home. I don't know. I might have given it to one of my kids. But, that's a gift. That's a That's a nice memento for them.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, that's right. Friend of the show. And look, in all seriousness, I think that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, of the three guys who got one-year deals yesterday, I mean, I think he seriously is a no-brainer. Like, you want him to be your 4 or 5 next year, but that's not bad to have, and obviously if you're going to have Julio Jones, which I think they will, you certainly know that it's possible that he could miss some time, and Westbrook-Ikhine can slide right in there. The question is who else is in the room that we don't know the name yet, because I think there's got to be somebody. But I think that's a no-brainer. I think Tart is also a good, he was hurt last year. And again, Naquan Jones kind of took his spot, but I think if you can have both of those guys on your team, you feel really good about your depth there up front, your ability to, mix in a little bit of rest for Jeffrey Simmons. And so that he's been a good find. Woodside's interesting. Is he someone who is going to be pursued by anyone? Is he is there not any discussion about possibly, and I know you could still do this, but about possibly upgrading at backup quarterback? I know, they love Woodside,
obviously.
Yeah. And the problem on our side of it is, you don't really, obviously we haven't seen him do anything in a real NFL game. He looks fine in the preseason, but they are bullish on Logan Woodside. That one I was a little bit surprised when I saw it.
I heard Jared yesterday. He was floored that Logan Woodside got another deal. I mean, look, I feel like we have this conversation every year for the last couple of years of like trying to just brush Logan Woodside aside and give his job to someone. I will say, though, when Tannehill was playing the way that he was playing, I didn't really care all that much because, if he's healthy, he's going to be the guy. And if he goes down, you're screwed anyway. Like, I do think the idea of, whether it's via the draft or I've even heard some Titans fans say, come bring in a better backup quarterback. I did wonder what they would do with Logan Woodside this year. And to your point, just because they signed him yesterday doesn't mean that they still can't draft a quarterback if they really love one in the draft. But obviously, they're big fans of Logan Woodside. I'm not going to try to give his job away again this year.
Yeah. I mean, look, but that's the thing. I said I was a little surprised, but that's always the discussion. I mean, I've had this. I know Darren DMAC is a big, like, you have to have a good backup quarterback. I remember one time on his show, so let's list all the backup quarterbacks in the league, and you get into some real. You're like, oh wow, who? Yeah. Oh, that he's a number. There's a few good. Backup quarterbacks who are proven to some extent who people feel good about. It's very hard to have that.
Although when the playoffs started last year, as David Beauclair brought up, Woodside was ranked 14th out of 14 with the playoff teams with backup quarterbacks, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. There's no, he's like there was no buzz on him coming in. No one saw him watch him play, although I love him action in college, and then he hasn't done anything in the NFL. Obviously, he's done a lot in the building and on the practice field that these guys like. But again, the problem is, so who are you getting and what are you paying? Because you have other considerations. This, to me, at least, it doesn't change at all the possibility of them. Like, this is not a deterrent to find your next starter in the draft, if that's what you want to do. If that's truly something on the table for them, that's truly something that they're considering. This has nothing to do with that. But I thought maybe they would look around a little bit. Just, I mean, what are your best options? I mean, Marcus Mariota would be great.
I don't think he's going to have much interest coming back here.
No, and you're paying too much for someone like that to be your number 2 quarterback.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he ends up. Like, is there a chance he's the starter somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him get another opportunity.
Pittsburgh still got an opening.
That's the thing. You gotta wait for the people who are ahead of him in the pecking order to sort of, you gotta wait. He's got to wait his turn, basically.
Yeah.
What is Pittsburgh going to do? Some of these teams, of course, are going to draft. But that's the thing. If you're a team that's going to, you're going to try to do this in the draft, depending on your situation, you may need a short-term starter, may not want to go right to the rookie. So he could find his way in somewhere.
I think he could too. I'm interested to see how that shakes out. And like Pittsburgh's, I'm pretty confident they're going to draft a quarterback this year. Now, does that quarterback that they draft, is that their starter from day one? I don't know. Is Mason Rudolph going to be their guy? Like if you're Mike Tomlin right now, you've had Mason Rudolph in your system forever now at this point. Would you rather have Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterback or Marcus Mariota? I don't know what his answer to that is. I'd probably go Marcus Mariota. That's just me, though.
I would bet you his answer would be Mason Rudolph. I feel like Mason Rudolph, and obviously it's a very different situation because he started a lot of games, but I feel like he's almost like, it's another one of those, like the fans are like, please move on from him. What are you doing? And like in the organization, they really like him. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, if you hate the Steelers, you love the sound of that. Mason Rudolph, starting quarterback for the Steelers.
Hey, they almost got in the playoffs with a combination of Rudolph and Duck Hodges, man. So don't put it past Mike Tomlin.
That's right.
Would Mason Rudolph, like today's version of Mason Rudolph, be that much worse than Big Ben last year?
Probably not, right? Really, here and there, he was like, he's kind of like a mummy himself, coming out of the. he'd play like a good quarter of football, and then he'd go back to being old Ben. So, yeah, it probably wouldn't be that big of a difference.
Make sure you tune in later this morning at 8:45 for your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click and win a pair of tickets to a future Preds home game brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. We'll have that opportunity coming up at 8:45. When we come back, we'll be joined by Cameron Wolf from NFL Network. We'll get his thoughts on a busy week in the NFL, quarterback movement galore, the Titans re-signing Harold Landry as well. All that coming up on the other side. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go. There is going to be a whole lot of work going on. Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
The stage is set. The rumors are true. The wait is over. My Chemical Romance. Live. The 2022 tour. August 23rd, Bridgestone Arena. My Chemical Romance with special guests Turnstile and Dilly Dally. Tickets are on sale this Friday at noon. Buy tickets at livenation.com. My Chemical Romance in concert.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you, whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan. They're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high-interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the twos. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
In the 1974 preseason, Milwaukee Bucks center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar made it clear he wanted to move to a major city, specifically his hometown of New York City or Los Angeles. After a failed attempt by the New York Knicks, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Bucks agreed on a deal to send Kareem and his backup Walt Wesley to LA for 4 players. He went on to win 5 titles with the Lakers, as well as 3 regular season MVPs.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Every team is one conversation away from a trade that can make all the difference. The same is true for your business. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 770 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits at good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in Cameron Wolf from the NFL Network. Cam, what's going on, man? How we doing?
Not much. How you guys doing this morning?
We're great. Appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. So, Cam, let's start on the quarterback front. What did you make of Russell Wilson heading to the Denver Broncos? A heavy price that the Broncos paid, but what does this do for them in the AFC West in your mind now that Russell Wilson's going to be their guy?
I think it puts them right on the cusp with Kansas City, AFC contender to win, the win of the conference. I think their defense has been ready for even without this year. They were a top 10 defense for most of the year. They are literally one of the few teams who were a quarterback away and got their guy. And I'm a big believer in Russell Wilson. There's a lot of people who tell you some of his flaws. He holds on to the ball long, won Super Bowl there. I think that he's one of the 5 to 6 elite quarterbacks in this league. And for the teams of those guys, they desperately need them, and they do everything they can to get them. So I think Denver it made a sport going forward, and that AFC West is going to be very fun to watch with Justin Herbert, with Patrick Mahomes, with Russ. Somebody's going to be disappointed every year, probably sitting at home come playoff time.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I mean, the AFC quarterback situation, Cam, compared to the NFC, even with Aaron Rodgers staying. But on the NFC side, first of all, what did you make of how that all went down? And now with Seattle, it looks like this could be just a total blow it up situation, which is interesting for me with Pete Carroll, and where he is in his career. But of course, there are some Deshaun Watson rumblings. There's going to be a lot more talk about him now moving forward. Where do you think they go?
Yeah, it looks from, the fact that they're releasing Bobby Wagner as well, the fact that they, get the haul from Russell Wilson. To me, that isn't a Russell Wilson haul. Maybe I had higher expectations, but I thought there would be 3 first-round picks. Situation head-scratching, at least in my end, on what the end goal is. This is a team that was already really with Russell Wilson. I talked to a couple coaches in the combine that said they're clearly the worst team in that division, and they didn't really see a path. So maybe path for them going forward, because that, we talk about the AFC West. The NFC West is very difficult. We saw this win the Super Bowl. San Fran's right in the mix at the end. And then Arizona, if they can figure out things with Kyler Murray, may have the best quarterback in the division. So I think they're looking at a situation, a various fork in the road spot. And, they can either put all their attention and go out like a Deshaun Watson and say, hey, we're going to go to the elite quarterback route, or they can say, hey, we're just going to go through the draft and completely tear this thing down and start over. So I think we'll find out in the next coming weeks what that route is. I think the next big piece will be Deshaun Watson, assuming that some of his legal situation gets clarity. And, you mentioned, I think Steve in that conversation to some extent.
Cam Wolf from NFL Network on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Cam, what did you make of the Carson Wentz move going from Indianapolis to the Washington Commanders? What did you think of the price? And is this Carson Wentz's last shot in your mind to prove that he can be a starting quarterback at the NFL level?
I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was about to go on TV about 5 minutes before the Carson news went, and I literally, occasionally, I laughed. And I'm like, man, we got another team. But, yeah, I think that, Carson, this is what, 3 for him. I'm just, early on I was a big Carson Wentz believer when he was in Philadelphia. But as time goes on, you got to realize all these teams can't be wrong. And I think that you're his last opportunity. In the NFL, if you're tall, you've got a big arm, and if you're athletic, then you'll always get another chance. And maybe that's why he's on chance 3. But, some of the rumblings about his off the field, that to me makes it even more confusing on, why Washington's giving up assets the way they are. They took on his whole contract. They gave up 2 third-round picks. That's something you do for, somebody who's sought after. And I'm not sure how many teams are actually seeking after a Carson Wentz. So that's really puzzling on my end from Washington's standpoint. Good for Indianapolis getting out of that contract and really, calling it a sunken cost after they gave up a first and a third to Philly for him the other day. But there's a lot of teams in quarterback purgatory, which we were talking about Russell Wilson earlier, man. I think that's why getting a guy like him is so significant, because otherwise you're taking swings like Washington is with Carson Wentz and just hoping and praying it'll be different.
Yeah, that Washington franchise, there's some interesting decisions over the years. Well, I agree. I mean, it's a pretty good parachute for the Colts. So now, what's their best move here, Cam? What if you were Chris Ballard? Who are you looking at to be your next new quarterback in Indy?
Well, you got to remember, Indy doesn't have a first-round pick. They traded that to Philly for Carson Wentz. So draft isn't really a seeming, a realistic option for them unless they're waiting until day 2. So they've got to look at the free agent or trade market, and there's nothing out there in the free agent market that really excites me. I know there's been a lot of buzz, which confuses me about Mitchell Trubisky. I just don't see it. I don't know why all of a sudden you feel like you can fix this guy when last year he didn't have much interest. Our good old friend Marcus Mariota is back on the market. He
Yes.
that would be some fun matchups twice a year. But again, that's another guy where I don't see that being a notable upgrade or from what you had before. So I think they'd have to look in the trade market and sniff around and see if these other teams will give up their guy. Whether it's a Jimmy Garoppolo out there in San Fran, that's the first name that pops into my head. He's a guy who's coming off of an injury, but he's very readily available. San Fran is actively shopping him, and for the right price, they would definitely ship him to Indianapolis. So that would be the first call I would make, especially with a team like the Colts, who are already built with a strong defense, with a really good offensive line, a good running game. They're a team that can fit in that quote-unquote game manager quarterback and still win. They just need somebody who can not shoot themselves in the foot. So that Jimmy G would be the first quarterback I would call. I might check and see if Vegas would listen on Derek Carr. They sound a little committed to him, but I would check. So I would look at something of that ilk. Maybe not one of the elite quarterbacks, but somebody who's proven they've done it for a few years and can help me, consistently get back to where I want to be as far as a contender.
And what did you make of the Titans re-signing Harold Landry? 5 years, $87.5 million, $52.5 million guaranteed. What did you think of the deal, and how do you view the Titans in terms of where they sit right now within the AFC, with Ryan Tannehill pretty clearly coming back and being their starter next year?
Yeah, I thought that the Harold Landry move was interesting because, like, a lot of times when you don't get the franchise tag, you always hear people say when you hit free agency, you're gone. And so there was a lot of feel like, okay, Harold Landry's not getting the tag. He's going to be gone. But I kept hearing that, hey, John Robinson really wants to re-sign this guy. And when you look at the deal he got, 5 for $87.5 or $52.5 million, that's a big commitment for, honestly, a guy who's only really had one significant, Pro Bowl caliber season. So they're betting on continued production. Obviously, we watched that defensive line last year. In my opinion, that was a top 3 defensive line throughout the year, and Harold Landry was a big part of it. But it's going to be interesting to see in year 2, can Harold Landry keep up that same production that he did, once again, year 2 of that top-end production. They are paying him to do that, and now they're paying him and Bud Dupree, almost $170 million total combined, and Jeffrey Simmons is coming up, as well. So I think they're putting a lot of commitment in that defensive line, and that's going to be the core of their team, and that's going to put pressure on everybody else to step up. So I think the Titans are in a spot where you saw in the combine John Robinson get emotional. I think he knows their window is now, and there's a lot of questions in the league about whether Ryan Tannehill is the guy to get it done. But the Titans clearly are hitching their wagon to him. So there's very limited resources for them to significantly improve. So they're going to count on a lot of internal improvement. Quarterback, staying healthy with the receivers, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and then Derrick Henry, of course. And it seems like more of a run-it-back format with maybe a couple pieces added. So the Titans were the 1 seed last year, but I'm very interested to see if they can keep that same quality of play when you see all these other teams around them making big moves.
Yeah, no question about that. So, Ken, I saw you in Indy. Just wondering if anyone that week really stood out to you. Maybe, if you got a clear QB1 in mind now, or maybe even just another position where you came away saying, okay, watch out for this guy.
Well, as far as the quarterback position, that's what everybody loves. This is obviously a weak class for that spot, but I actually was talking with a couple GMs out there in Indy, and everybody kept raving to me about Malik Willis. And he's an interesting prospect because he's not going to be a guy who teams believe is ready to step in week 1 and be able to play. He may be a sit-down for a year quarterback, which we don't see a lot in this league. But he's, when you look for those quarterbacks in the top 10, teams often look for elite traits, and he's the guy who has the most elite traits out of any of the quarterbacks. He's got a cannon arm. I had one GM said that his arm really surprised them and impressed them on how fluid it was coming out of the pocket. Mobility is something which is a requirement in this game. He had more rushing yards than any of these quarterbacks coming out, and he interviewed well. So to me, he's the guy who I came out of Indy thinking he's most likely to be the first quarterback drafted. And then outside of him, all these athletic big guys. I remember when a guy broke 5 flat in a 40 if he weighed over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
That was the holy grail. And then you got a guy like Jordan Davis breaking 4.8. You got some of these offensive linemen running crazy. So to me, the most impressive thing is these big guys. Man, I couldn't run a 4.8 if I trained for 3 months, Joe. I'm telling you. There's a naive perspective from a lot of us regular folks that we're faster than we are. Trust me. Line up, get yourself ready for a 40 and see what time you run. I almost guarantee for 95% of us, we're not breaking 5 flat.
Oh, God, no way. I will never do it again.
Cameron Wolf from the NFL Network, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Cam, really appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Great stuff as always, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, appreciate you, fellas.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Cameron Wolf does a great job covering the National Football League for the NFL Network. We'll come back. We'll react to what Cam had to say there. Look ahead to the Preds and the Ducks coming up tonight as well. And as always, take your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 1025 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, give life.
With certified refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy summer with up to 50% savings on top brands like Bose, Works, iRobot, and more. Go full on summer with half off top brands. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's Conference Championship Week in college basketball, and FanDuel has the best offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can place their first college basketball bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. It's the college basketball tournaments the way you'd like to bet them. So you take a chance at a same-game parlay or jump into the action big with live betting or bet with big promotion like Odds Boost. You've been thinking about FanDuel? Now is the perfect time to give it a shot. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and my official sportsbook app. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use the promo code JGM at sign up to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. That's JGM. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale.
Which factory? From where?
Family Leisure has truckloads of new model merchandise from all their factories arriving daily.
Really? Like what?
Well, spas for one. All the new model spas are here and on sale. From Artesian, Viking, and Bimini Spas. Spas as low as $29.99.
Okay.
Family Leisure is getting all the new patio furniture styles. Hannah Mint, Tropitone, and Woodard are on sale. And there are still a lot of floor models left to sell at ridiculous prices. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Now that's interesting.
Family Leisure has factory direct pricing on pools. 24-foot pools starting as low as $29.99 installed. And solid wood slate pool tables are only $14.99 as well.
That means the grills, smokers, and grill islands are on sale too.
Of course. Family Leisure even has the new 24-lamp Wolf tanning beds on sale for $26.99.
Even the massage chairs, theater seating, and leather sectionals are on sale.
That's right. That's Family Leisure's factory direct sale going on now.
Both locations, Antioch and Franklin.
The Electronic Express tax refund sale is going on now. Get huge savings in every department, including 4K TVs, mattresses, computers and tablets, housewares, smart home, and more. We have all of your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
In the 1974 preseason, Milwaukee Bucks center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar made it clear he wanted to move to a major city, specifically his hometown of New York City or Los Angeles. After a failed attempt by the New York Knicks, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Bucks agreed on a deal to send Kareem and his backup Walt Wesley to LA for 4 players. He went on to win 5 titles with the Lakers, as well as 3 regular season MVPs.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Every team is one conversation away from a trade that can make all the difference. The same is true for your business. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 770 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
The NCAA tournament is right around the corner, and it's time for you to sign up and play the official Game Bracket Challenge, brought to you by Coach's Corner Sports Grill in Spring Hill and Days Delta 8 and Wager as well. Go to theGameNashville.com/bracket challenge or the Game Nashville app now and sign up to play. Brackets will be open after the teams have been selected on Sunday March 13th. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Going to be joined by Preds assistant coach Dan Lambert coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. So looking forward to that conversation. Right now, let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We've got a texter that says, I don't want Jimmy G. He's injured. I would assume a Colts fan texting this in. I don't want Jimmy G. He's injured. Didn't he just have like shoulder surgery or something?
Yes.
I think that's right.
Yeah. But he'll be fine by the time the next season rolls around. He does get hurt a lot, though.
He does. There's no great answer out there, you know. But there's a lot of cap space. I can't point it out.
I never count it past the Houston Texans to do something stupid, like trading Deshaun Watson in their own division.
I mean, you could hope like they have Boomer Brain that day and forget that you're in their same division, you know, just for a moment.
I mean, of all the teams,
yeah, they'd be a candidate. But to Cam's point there, I mean, it is ultimately for the Colts. I mean, we already knew that Wentz didn't work out. We already knew they were down on him. I mean, Irsay's saying everything, but like, I'm going to like drive him to another city. Zach Kiefer's story, by the way, he tried to clear the air with Irsay. Kiefer wrote the story. Wentz tried to set up a meeting with Irsay and sorry, I'm a little busy, man. Prank caller. I mean, so
I'm on the plane right now making, videos before I take off. Yeah,
exactly. So the fact that they got anything other than just, here, cut them and eat the dead money. The fact that they got the money off the books and got some picks for him is pretty good. But they also did invest a lot in him that they aren't getting back. The first round pick this year could be real handy to them.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Got a texture that says, well-deserved win in the beatdown yesterday, Joe, but you're taking it too easy on capless Stillman. Enjoy the show. Keep up the good work, guys. Go Vols this week and go Preds as well. It was a nice victory for you yesterday in Jared versus Joe. The salary cap not existing argument ultimately did Jared in yesterday to what we've come to know is an impartial judge in our fearless leader, Chase McCabe.
Yeah, interesting move by Caroline to have Chase. I mean, I don't blame her. Have Chase come in and do the judging. But she called us bitcher and moaner. I want to know which one I am. Am I bitcher or am I moaner?
I mean, depends on the day.
Yeah, that's right. But that's the thing. It's like the salary cap. Like, we all agree. Of course, it's like you manipulate it, and it's not like this is the cap. Here is your salaries. That's it. No. But Jared's trying to make the argument that the Titans are only going to cut Roger Saffold, which we all just assume, because he gets hurt and they don't want him anymore. Well, I mean, if the Titans could have Roger Saffold as their starting left guard next year, they would absolutely have Roger Saffold as their starting left guard next year. I mean, so that's the thing. When you start making an argument to support a dumb thing you said, then you start getting into things that everybody knows isn't true. We all know it's not true. That, hey, Saffold gets hurt a lot. We got to get him out of here. No. You would pay him. You would have him as your starting left guard if you could, but you can't because there is a cap that does exist.
Joe,
anyway, good job, Chase McCabe.
Very, very well done. Joe, the Nashville Predators taking on the Anaheim Ducks tonight. Ducks are 5 points back of the Predators in the standings. You're 1 point ahead of the Stars. Edmonton gets a big win last night against Washington after I thought they were just going to get robbed. They had an empty net, Washington did, and Edmonton, Zach Hyman had the puck and was about to coast in there scot-free. And Ovechkin might have had the most egregious hook in the history of the NHL that they did not call. And then Washington tied the game with less than a second left on a shot by TJ Oshie. And I thought Edmonton was about to lose in overtime. But they do have somebody named Connor McDavid. They get it done. So that now they're 2 points behind the Predators, 1 point behind the Stars. Big game tonight against Anaheim. They just got thrashed the other day by the Blackhawks. So I would imagine they'll be ready to go tonight. If you can get this done, if you're the Predators, that puts some pretty good distance between you and the Ducks, which anytime you can put some distance between the teams behind you, that's a good thing.
Yeah. This is the of all the games this week, obviously it's not the division rival. It's not the overall rival it used to be, but still a huge game, really important game. If you can bridge this into the huge weekend, that would be major for the Preds, and try to move out. I mean, there's just so many teams that right now are still in it. You could really do some damage to the Ducks by beating them in regulation.
You could. Little maybe rookie of the year matchup tonight, Tanner Jeannot and Trevor Zegras. Maybe a little extra oomph from Jeannot tonight. What do you think?
Maybe a little, yeah. Well, watch out on the boards there, buddy. Yeah.
In all seriousness, I think that guy plays the same way every night, which is part of what makes him really good. Like, I think you know what you're going to get from Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah, and
that you know.
Oh,
that was
nice.
awful. I got to get out of here after that.
Oh man. Whew.
We'll forgive you, Robbie. We'll forgive you.
I think Vinga's the big Jeannot, if you Jeannot on Twitter guy, right? Yeah.
He is. Ugh,
that's okay. That's all right, man. We'll give you a mulligan.
Yeah, big game tonight for the Preds. I don't even know if I deserve a mulligan on that one. We'll see. I mean, I assume at this point, based on Hines' comments the other day, you're probably leaving Forsberg and Duchesne with Johansson tonight. I don't think there's going to be a ton of lineup tinkering. Like, I guess we'll see if Mark Borowiecki can go tonight. And if he can, you'll probably see Ben Harper out of there. But again, Ben Harper played well yesterday. Want to make sure I make that clear. Played well yesterday, Joe Rexrode. So if you go with the same lineup, you're feeling okay right now if you're the Predators.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's been. I mean, you've made it clear that you are cool with Ben Harper now in the lineup. Yeah. So you'd like him to be in there permanently. So it's good to know.
They ruined my Matt Luff get the puck to Matt Luff t-shirt idea the other day. I'll just have to come up with another one for Ben Harper.
Oh man, yeah. Well, with the deep pairings, let's see. Ultimately, in a perfect world, when they go into the postseason, it should be what?
I mean, if you're asking me, it should be Yossi Fabro, Ekholm Carrier, and then Benning Borowiecki. But that's my ideal. Now, having said that, the idea that all six guys are just going to be completely healthy coming down the stretch and in the playoffs is probably a little hopeful. So that's another spot maybe you look at the deadline if you're David Poile. I'm not spending much on it, like very minimal amounts of assets on it, but maybe that's something you take a look at if you're David Poile. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation on the Predators. We'll be joined by Preds assistant coach Dan Lambert coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Saturday.
Duchesne puts it away upstairs, and the Predators take a 5-0 lead.
The Predators have a midday matchup against the St. Louis Blues.
It's a lot of fun playing on this team.
Pre-game at 10:30. Face-off at 11:30 on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. The Goblet has dropped. Download it. Must be 21 and up.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint, financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/Greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Chase McKay. Bet on more than the final score with One Game Parlay at BetMGM. It is my favorite thing to do on the app. One Game Parlay is an exciting feature designed to help you make selections within a single game from over 400 bet types, including team and player props. Just log into your BetMGM account and create your best parlay before the game starts. If you're new to BetMGM, sign up today and make your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 with the bonus code 1025GAME. Plus, you'll earn BetMGM rewards points that can be redeemed for online bonuses or converted into comps for rooms, restaurants, and more at over 20 MGM resorts nationwide. Try One Game Parlay today. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Get that luxury watch you've always dreamed of this weekend at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis is hosting a spectacular 3-day event featuring a huge selection of pre-owned Rolex watches. Yes, these are the timepieces you can't find anywhere, but Genesis has them. Daytonas, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejust, Sky Dwellers, and more. Come pick out your luxury pre-owned Rolex and get up to $3,000 in Genesis gift cards, plus 60-month special financing. Our buyers are on site for this event, so if you already own a Rolex and want to sell it, you'll get top dollar. Or trade yours for a different model. All Genesis luxury pre-owned Rolexes are hand-selected and rigorously inspected in pristine condition, and our selection has never been better. Don't miss this special pre-owned Rolex buy, sell, trade event at Genesis Diamonds this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Both locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
We travel to see what's around the bend and what we're capable of. And now Capital One's new class of travel card can keep up with you. Introducing Venture X from Capital One. With 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy. Venture X, for those always asking, where next? Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations, so you get the product you're looking for. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Big game tonight for the Nashville Predators as they host the Anaheim Ducks. And to help us talk more about it, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Preds assistant coach Dan Lambert. Dan, what's going on? Thanks for taking time to be with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
We appreciate you coming on with us. So, Dan, big game for you guys coming up tonight. Huge win the other night in regulation. How big was it for your group, not only to come back in the third period in that game and get the 2 points, but to get it done in regulation against the Stars team that's right there with you in the standings?
Yeah, I mean, it's a critical part of our schedule. I think we'll be saying that often here over the last 27 games. But in saying that, in this particular game, we really felt like we played a really solid game. We didn't give them a whole lot, and we found ourselves down, in the last 10 minutes of the game. But we stuck with it, and I thought it was really critical for us to continue to stick with it. Sometimes, when you're down, you start pressing. Thought we didn't really do that, and guys did a great job of not panicking, just staying mentally focused, and eventually got it done. And it certainly took the whole 60 minutes.
Yeah. So Dan, 2 games in a row, and I know the San Jose game. Obviously you guys had a huge offensive night, but 2 games in a row, it seems like it's been a really strong reaction in terms of what you're doing in the defensive zone, being really tight, attention to detail, things like that. Did the Seattle game help, I guess, get that message across for you as a coaching staff?
Yeah, I think, after the game, nobody was happy. The players weren't happy. We weren't happy, and obviously, we knew that it was important that we got back to the details of the game, and obviously that was enforced by John and the coaching staff, and the players really, like they've done all year, they've really stepped up in whatever we've asked of them, and it's really a positive thing for us, especially coming down the stretch here. We understand that we had a stretch where we weren't playing our best hockey, or we certainly weren't getting the results, and it's important now that we turn things around, and hopefully this is the start of what's to come.
Dan, what have you made of the play of the fourth line in the last couple of games? Obviously, a couple of games ago, just racking it up on the score sheet. I thought they were really solid again the other night against Dallas with Michael McCarron and Philip Tomasino. Matt Luff was in there a couple games ago. Nick Cousins comes back in last game. Just what they bring to the table for you guys on a nightly basis. How important is their role in what they do?
Well, you know what? We have a lot of games coming up, and there is no doubt that we're a much better team when we can roll four lines. And what they've done over the last little while is they've given the coaching staff confidence in putting them out there, and putting them out there not just against the opposition's fourth line, but putting them out there against anybody. And we feel very comfortable and confident that they're able to do the job. And that's credit to the players, taking on that responsibility, giving the coaches confidence, and it's all really worked out. So, with the schedule that we have to be able to play four lines, and we're able to do that right now.
Are you happy with the switch, Dan? Moving Forsberg and Duchesne with Johansson, then obviously changing Granlund's line. Like, do you feel like that has staying power?
Well, you know what? We certainly can't. I think in a short or small sample size, we have been satisfied with it. We thought the Tolvanen, Granlund, Cunnin line did a real good job against Dallas's top line, and then that frees up Johansson's line a little bit with Forsberg and Duchesne just to be able to play against other lines, and that's what we were looking for, and I think it certainly worked last game, and so I guess time will tell here, because it might change depending on the opposition, but certainly worked against Dallas.
President Assistant Coach Dan Lambert on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dan, what stands out to you about this Anaheim team? Obviously a team that is, fighting for a playoff spot and behind you guys in the standings right now. What sort of a test do you expect tonight at Bridgestone Arena?
Well, we know they've had a few injuries here as of late, but in saying that, they have a ton of speed. They're a young team. They're a team that pretty much has surprised everybody this season in how they've played and how they're just a relentless group. So we've got to play our game. We've got to be very stingy in the D zone. We can't give them easy offense, because they do have some very good young offensive players. So we've got to do a job there. And at the end of the day, we've got to take care of business. Every game is important. And obviously when you're talking about teams in your conference, teams that are right there with you fighting for a playoff spot, I mean, those are games that you have to play your best and give yourself the best chance to win.
Dan, we've talked some this year just about, Roman Jossi's been a really good player for a long time. Obviously, he's won a Norris, but at times maybe not even appreciating some of the things he's doing out there, and maybe not talking enough about how it seems like he's even elevated his level of play, to another level. From a coaching perspective, what's it like to coach him and be around him every day and watch him and sort of maybe probably not take for granted some of the stuff that we do on the outside?
Well, there's no doubt that Roman is our captain. He's our leader. And when he's at our best, it gives our team a chance to be at our best. And, there's things that he does specifically in the offensive zone that you're right. Because we get to watch him every single night, we just expect that of him. But he certainly can create. He's also, we feel he's at his best when he actually looks after the D zone first, and he's done a good job of that. Obviously, not just last game, but all season, and which is why he's an all-star, which is why he's in the Norris talks every year or up there anyway. And so, you know what, he's a joy to coach. He's a joy to be around, and like I said, he's our leader, and when he's going, we're going.
And last thing for you here, we've talked so much about that herd line with Jeannot, Sissons, and Trennan ever really since they were put together last year. Even in that time, since they were put together last year and were really effective right from the jump, how much growth from that line have you seen even from last year to this year in terms of their all-around game?
Well, they've been, you forget that really Jeannot is a rookie, and he doesn't act like it. He doesn't play like it. He's a force out there, and it's amazing how the three of them together are so effective. And sometimes we've tried to put, well, whether it's Trennan or Jeannot on other lines, just to insert a little bit of whether it's physicality or speed or grit and it just seems like they're just better when they play together. They just read off one another. They support each other. They are heavy on the puck and heavy for the opposition to handle, and obviously their physicality. It's a line that typically, we need to go, and most nights they're probably one of our most effective lines. Not always on the score sheet, but just in how they bring that energy and that physicality. It's been great to have, and I know there's nights where the opposition they don't like to see them line up against them because they know what's coming.
Absolutely. Dan Lambert, Preds assistant coach, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Dan, really appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Good luck tonight against the Ducks, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Preds assistant coach Dan Lambert, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. It is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports. Coming up on the other side, we'll have our submissions. Take yours as well, 615-737-1025. Let me tell you about my friends at Jasper's. Jasper's is a casual restaurant and bar located on West End Avenue, equipped with TVs, a game room available for private events, a grab-and-go market, and free parking. Yep, free parking. We know what a big deal that is in downtown Nashville. This neighborhood spot is Nashville's new go-to restaurant and bar, and you can try their selection of elevated bar food ranging from appetizers to great chicken sandwiches to flatbread pizzas and the famous smash burger, as well as any of their delicious cocktails as well. So visit my friends at Jasper's, located at 1918 West End Avenue. Once again, that's 1918 West End Avenue, and tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Seasonal start this morning. We're in the 30s, on our way to upper 50s and lower 60s under mostly sunny skies. Code Red for snow Friday night.
Join Planet Fitness now through March 16th and get the PF Black Card for zero enrollment and $22.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
Super soothing hydro massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Zero enrollment, $22.99 a month. Deal ends March 16th. See Club for details.
Did you know that about 80% of new home buyers don't ever shop around for the best mortgage loan? That's a huge mistake. Hey, Willie Donick here. Listen, not all mortgages are created equal, and I'm here to prove it with Loan Pronto. People who use Loan Pronto save on average $3,500 just in closing costs. On top of that, they get a better rate, which saves them thousands more every year. Your banker or agents go to lender. They're fine people, but don't assume they're giving you the best deal. Call Loan Pronto for a quick second opinion or go to loanpronto.com. I'll bet they can get you a better loan, a lower rate, without all those annoying closing costs. What have you got to lose? You compare costs on everything else in your life. Why not do the same with your mortgage? Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, it's Deion Sanders. They call me Coach Prime now. You already know Walmart is your one-stop shop for all those game day essentials. Now, Walmart and Gillette Labs are teaming up to take your game day to the next level. You got to swing by the shave aisle to snag the new Gillette Labs razor and get that W, man.
The new Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar for a shave as quick and easy as washing your face.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Robby and Rexrode is on ESPN 1025 The Game.
The best and worst of the sports week now on Robby and Rexrode
On ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in the world of sports. As always, we'll take your submissions on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Lots of options this week for both the best things in sports and the worst things in sports as well. Joe Rexrode, as you do every week, would you like to kick us off with your best and worst things in the world of sports?
Sounds great. Best basketball. This is probably gonna be my best, for a while, but
it's like the ball itself or the whole sport, or what are we doing?
I do like a nice basketball. I like to feel the ball in the hands, that perfect shot form.
What's your ideal PSI of the basketball?
28 and a half, man. 28 and a half, yeah. Or is that's the size? PSI 32? Shoot, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Just ask Brady. He's really expert in PSI.
Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yeah. So a couple things in particular. David Jean-Baptiste from Chattanooga, the shot he hit this week to put them in the NCAA tournament, unbelievable. And then Dre Edwards from Kentucky. She was really great all tournament, but then hits that three top of the key to beat number one South Carolina. We've already had some great moments. There's more to come as well. And my worst is, this is also something that could happen over and over again. Good old baseball. Another nod for just ridiculous. Here they go. Now they're basically killing spring training. So I have family again in Venice, not far from here in Tampa, Venice, Florida. They have a new, all new complex for the Atlanta Braves, a new home, new stadium. They were going to welcome back the reigning world champs. It was going to be packed every single night. There was so much excitement, so much impact on the town to have this. And these spring training towns, you're talking about more than $1 billion in economic impact that's about to be lost. They're going to have probably some bare bones spring training, depending on when they get this done. You got concession workers who count on those 6 weeks or so much of their annual income. It's really devastating. It's not just that, you're hurting baseball and baseball fans are mad. It really is devastating. But, by all means, billionaires and millionaires, just keep griping over minor details and damaging your sport.
I put this out there on Twitter last night. Is it bad that I have not cared one iota about the MLB lockout? I know that now that apparently the season is going to get pushed back to at the earliest, April 14th, I believe the date is. But the part that you just talked about, for sure, that's awful. In terms of the sport itself, I think they're kind of missing the boat here. They already have a problem anyway with people my age not really caring about Major League Baseball. And this certainly does not help. Now, in the grand scheme of things, if they get this figured out, they end up playing 120 games or whatever the number is that really going to be a big deal at the end of the day? Probably not, because your diehard baseball fans will go back pretty quickly, I think. But I think there's a whole lot of, not, being too close to the forest to see the trees going on between the two sides here. And people my age just largely don't care about Major League Baseball, and that's a problem for them as they move forward.
It's a big problem. And for me, 1994, I swore off baseball. I was so mad about a season. That was they killed off the second half of the 1994 season. Montreal Expos fans remember well. They were the best team, man. They were going to win it all that year. Maybe not, but they were very good. But I really, for about a decade, paid so much less attention to the sport. Eventually, if you love it, you'll come back. But that's still, you're talking about someone who was devoted before then and tried to stick with giving up on it. And I think a lot of people were like that then. I think there's going to be a lot of people now. And like you said, it's already a challenge with the other things competing for eyeballs and for participation from kids and all that stuff.
Michelle Knezovic, your best and worst things in the world of sports for this week.
Okay, I'm going to start with my worst, guys, because this just got me really heated the other day. So the Atlantic Sun Conference, they're having all their conference tournaments right now. Bellarmine, a small school in Louisville, they just became a Division I school. I think this is their their second season. They win the conference, right? Should be an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, but because of the rule that you have to be a Division I school for at least 5 seasons, they aren't eligible to go to the NCAA tournament, even though they won, and they should have an automatic bid. Amazing for their program so early at the Division I level. And now it's Jacksonville State, who is the regular season championship winners. They will represent that conference, but they lost in the semifinal rounds of the tournament, but they are still going to the tournament.
Why is that a rule?
It's dumb. It's dumb.
Well, and they're not even giving it to the team that lost to Bellarmine. They're like, okay, you guys aren't even involved in this. We're just going to give it to the regular season champs who lost to that team.
So it's Jacksonville State instead of Jacksonville. So it's
big
already
rivalry.
Confusing enough with that. No, I agree. To me, it's like don't let them play in the conference tournament.
Yeah,
If you're playing the conference tournament, you should have the reward available to you.
Yeah, so they're probably cheering for Bellarmine to win because they're like, oh, if they win, we're in.
We're in.
Right? They're not even playing the game. So that I just think it just stinks for Bellarmine.
That's crazy.
But then on the flip side, my best in sports, it's kind of a general thing, but having all these conference tournaments, I kind of took a minute the other day and I was like, wow, this is the first time since 2020 we have been able to have these full stadiums. And I think March is one of just the best times of the year for crowds and incredible games, buzzer beaters. We've already seen so many. But just to have those stands full again, I always love the One Shining Moment video they do. I'm just so excited for March to have all the fans back in the stands. Tampa this weekend. Hopefully a lot of the SEC school fans go down there. It's just kind of crazy. It took so long to get here, guys, but kind of feeling normal again.
Yeah, no question about it. It's a big time of year for that kind of stuff, and the crowd in March is it's awesome. My best thing in the world of sports this week, Dickie V getting his scans back the other day.
Yes.
Nice. There's no visible signs of cancer. That's awesome. Dickie V, they need him back on the sideline. And again, we talked about it yesterday. Some nice words from Rick Barnes on our show a couple days ago, kind of explaining what his relationship is like with Dickie V. That was really cool to hear him talk about that. But just really good news. I know he's not out of the woods totally, but really good news on the Dickie V front the other day. So that's my best thing in the world of sports. Worst thing, Calvin Ridley. It's, for him, it's kind of lucky he's gotten swept under the rug a little bit this week, just based on, the quarterback movement in the NFL. But it's not even, I understand that people have varying degrees of opinions on the seriousness of the matter and all that stuff. But it's basically what Charles said yesterday. If you didn't know that you couldn't do this, if you're Calvin Ridley, you're either just woefully not paying attention multiple times, or you just don't care. And either way, to me, is inexcusable. Calvin Ridley, my worst thing in sports this week. Got to be smarter than that, my friend. Can't do it.
No, that's a good choice. And the tweeting about it and talking about really a special player. I mean, he's a great receiver. and $1,500, $11 million. But again, like, this stuff is clearly communicated. There's no question about that. And yeah, we'll see. There's some people out there saying, will Calvin Ridley actually play in this league again? I think he probably will, but
yeah,
it's everyone, and we got a lot of this on the text line yesterday. Again, domestic abuse in the NFL, various other things that get like these smaller punishments. And I'm not saying that those aren't valid points, and that this does not rise that level. But at the same time, if you look at it from the perspective of you're running this business, if people don't believe that this is genuine, legitimate competition, then you will lose your business.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robert in Nashville texting in. Best Carolina beating Duke. The worst is the Duke coaches acting out in the handshake line and then talking about a program of integrity. Also, Coach K starting the retirement celebration by calling his team embarrassing. I enjoyed every minute of the Coach K retirement celebration and the speech that followed. I hope we're going to play that audio for years to come. Just be quiet. Everyone be quiet. Stop talking. Probably my favorite Coach K moment of all time.
And a lot of the reaction to, Jerry Stackhouse's quote the other day was pretty good. The view of the Carolina guy,
Well, it's funny that they even had it on a game day. Like, in their heads, there's no way we're losing. There's no way. Yeah. They're like, we're having it after the game. We're going to do this huge thing.
Well, they won by 20 at UNC earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Now UNC was not going to make the tournament this year. They're one of the most improved teams in the country right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a given, right?
It's hilarious. Josh on the text line says, worst thing is fan brawls. It seems to be happening more often and is super dangerous for everyone around it. Which, by the way, there's a nice little brawl the other night in San Jose between a Preds fan and some Sharks fan out there too. So that was not good to watch. Best thing is UNC beating Duke in Coach K's last home game. Lots of love for UNC on the text line right now.
I know. I feel like one of us should have had that, but good job, text line, for bringing that in. Because yes, it. We have to remember, when a couple weeks when Vingan comes back, we have to remember to bring this up because I
will not forget. I will not forget. Don't you worry, guys.
Be quiet. Be quiet. William from Madison on the text line. Not sports related, but the best thing this week is that the Obi-Wan Kenobi show trailer was released yesterday. And yes, it was. It was freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Book of Boba Fett was really good. If you haven't seen it, I'd encourage you to check it out. Obi-Wan Kenobi coming up in late May. Gonna be great.
That's cool. That's exciting. On that front, I'd throw as an honorable mention best for me is the new Batman movie, The Batman.
I still need to see it.
Go check it out. Yeah. I'd be interested to see what you think. It was pretty freaking well done.
Joe, some very quick news on the Titans front that will come to the surprise of absolutely no one. This coming from Mike Garafolo. Says the Titans are releasing Kendall Lamb, who signed a 2-year deal before last season, appeared in 12 games last season, was due $3.3 million this upcoming season. Joe, we've not even really talked about that because it just makes too much sense. Like, Kendall Lamb did not work, and he will not be with the Titans next year.
Yeah, so if that's their first move, if they're going to do them by most obvious to least, I guess Jenkins is next, and then Saffold, which I know maybe some people out there holding out hope that keep Saffold. They certainly would if they could, but Lamb was a no-brainer. Didn't give much at all.
Yeah, no question. This is the best and worst things in sports. We do this every Thursday morning at 7:45. When we come back, we'll be joined by Stephen Holder from The Athletic. We'll dig a little bit deeper into the Carson Wentz story going from Indianapolis to the Washington Commanders. That's coming up on the other side. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Time for the Preds Report.
Presented by Newton Nissan.
The Nashville Predators came from behind in the third period on Tuesday night and in regulation time
edged the Dallas Stars 2-1 to leapfrog the Stars in the Central Division standings and in the wild card race. Meantime, in Chicago, the Anaheim Ducks, tonight's Predators opponents, opened up a road trip against the Chicago Blackhawks. Their problem? They allowed the first 6 goals of the game, and the Blackhawks went on to an 8-3 win. Starting goaltender John Gibson gave up 5 of those goals in the first period on a total of 13 shots. -5 for the night for the Ducks, rookie defenseman Jamie Drysdale and veteran Hampus Lindholm. These two teams, Predators and Ducks, meet tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Pre-game coverage at 6, the game at 7 o'clock. This is Pete Weber reporting.
All the best car deals in Smashville start at Newton Nissan. Visit them at Newton Nissan of Gallatin or Newton Nissan South in Shelbyville.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Hey, Robby Stanley here, and the Players' Championship is back with one of the best fields in golf, and now you can take a shot at the Island Green with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get 30-1 odds on Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, or Xander Schauffele to make the cut at the Players. That's right, if any of those players make the cut at TPC Sawgrass, which is a great course, by the way, one of my favorites, you win $150 on a $5 bet. I really like Justin Thomas to do well this week at TPC Sawgrass. I think he makes the cut for sure, but you take it any way you want to take it. There's no better time to get in on the action with FanDuel Sportsbook. So step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the Players' Championship. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app with promo code ROB to get 30-1 odds on JT, Colin Morikawa, or Xander Schauffele to make the cut at the Players. Once again, that promo code is ROB. FanDuel Sportsbook, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Must be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bet of $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters. So make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, hour number 3 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Stephen Holder from The Athletic. Stephen, what's going on? How we doing?
Oh, nothing's going on. It's really quiet. Just a normal week in the NFL.
That had nothing to write about the last few days, so I know that you've got plenty of time to join us here today on the show. We appreciate it. So, Stephen, we'll start with the Carson Wentz front. That's right. We'll start with the Carson Wentz front. This is obviously it's been something we've been talking to you about for several months now at this point. Now that it's done and Carson Wentz has been traded from Indy to Washington. What do you think of the deal, and where do you think the Colts go from here now that Carson Wentz is out the door?
Okay, so I'll start by saying that I think the Colts actually did okay here. I think we're talking about I know a guy – I know this is a guy in Carson Wentz who last season garnered a first and a third-round pick. I understand that, and getting 2 third-round picks a year later maybe doesn't sound all that great, but I think the context is important. He was coming off one subpar season a year ago. This year, he now has been jettisoned by 2 teams in consecutive years, and I think that changes the trajectory of a player, or I guess the value of a player at least. And they still managed to get to 2/3, and they moved up a few spots by swapping second-round picks too. So credit to the Colts for getting something out of this. I think they did okay. They did actually pretty good. Now, that being said, they don't have a quarterback, so that's kind of an issue. And when you ask me where they go from here, I think the interesting thing is that they made this deal without really having another deal in place. There was no absolute plan B here. They have some balls in the air, clearly, but they didn't have a deal wrapped up. So I think they're looking at, they'll talk to Jimmy G and the 49ers. They will look at the free agent market such that it is, and they'll continue to sort of shake the trees and see if there's anything left on the trade market. And obviously the draft is certainly in play now as well. So we'll see. I think we'll have a resolution here soon.
Well, you wrote a piece today, Stephen, kind of making the case that, a game manager, just someone who doesn't make the critical mistake with everything else they have going for them. And I mean, I'm assuming they're going to be better on the outside too, that they're going to do something to address that. And you've pointed this out. They have tons of cap space to go do things, but that maybe, I guess, a safer choice at quarterback might be a good way to go. Is Teddy Bridgewater something? Do you think that might be? I mean, I haven't heard a lot of talk about him, but he's a possibility. I mean, the free agent crop is not great, but who would you look at if you were them?
Well, I think the game manager, quote unquote, it is one avenue, and it's one I think they have to consider. Look, if the goal here, and I'm not speaking for the Colts, but this may be the reality. If the goal here is to buy yourself a little more time to resolve this, because I don't think they're going to permanently fix their quarterback situation this offseason. I don't see how they do that. So if the goal is to buy a little more time, there's a better quarterback class next year in the draft, they'll have a first-round pick. If that's the goal, then the game manager makes some sense. I mean, you already said, I think it's correct, that they'll probably address their wide receiver position. They have a very capable running back, one of the best running games in football with Jonathan Taylor. They have a good offensive line. One of the things that Carson Wentz did is, despite his immense talent, and I still think he's talented, one of the things he did was he just made the easy things really hard. And sometimes the best play is taking the check down. Sometimes the best play is making that first read and making that easy throw. Sometimes the best play is not looking for the big play time and time again. Those are the things that Carson Wentz really struggles with, to be completely honest. And I think they had a really negative impact on the Colts offense this season. And I kind of wonder where they might have been had they had a quarterback who took some of those layups, as Chris Ballard sort of characterized it in his end of the year press conference. I think it would have made a big difference. So let your playmakers do some more of the work. They have a good offensive scheme, good play caller. Maybe the quarterback, if he's not in the way as much, maybe the results are as good or better. It's just a theory.
Stephen Holder from The Athletic on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And Stephen, some of the things that we've talked about here, both with you and some of the reporting that's been out there as well, is, on the field play was one thing with Carson Wentz, and that's certainly a big part of this, but also maybe off the field as well, and wanting better leadership. And, the Colts have obviously been pretty vocal about Carson Wentz and the quarterback situation this offseason. So in your mind, how much of this is, what Carson Wentz did on the field, and how much of this maybe is off the field stuff with Carson Wentz as well?
So I would start by saying I don't think Carson Wentz is some sort of bad guy. No one has said that. I don't think he's, so a jerk or anything like that. So I think a lot of the things that came out of Philadelphia after that trade kind of suggested maybe there was more in that regard. I didn't discover that. But what I did discover, and I think this is important, I don't think Carson Wentz is a natural leader necessarily, or at least not the kind that is ideal for an NFL quarterback. It's such an important job, and the expectations as a leader are so great that I think you have to really embrace that. I would describe Carson Wentz as a reluctant leader. And that doesn't make you, again, a bad guy, but I do think that is a knock on you when maybe you look at the full picture of a quarterback and whether he's the guy in the long term. I think that part needs to be really something you can be comfortable with. And if it's not, then it has to be something you take into consideration. Look, the Colts, for the past few years, their quarterbacks, they have certainly changed a lot. But one thing that Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, and Phillip Rivers had in common is they were off the charts in terms of leadership, completely off the charts. And so whatever shortcomings they may have had elsewhere, they had no shortcomings there. So now you had Carson Wentz, who had shortcomings in certain areas as a player, but also shortcomings as a leader. That knocks you down a few pegs, So I think that was kind of the issue with Carson, and I don't think it helped him.
Well, let's see. There's a couple other quarterback news items this week too, Steven. I just how would you sum it all up? What's number one on the list of things that surprised you? And what do you think about, especially, the Russell Wilson move to Denver? What do you think of them now? And what do you think things are headed with Deshaun Watson?
So I think the news of Aaron Rodgers going back to Green Bay, I think that started to kind of crystallize here in the last couple of weeks. Certainly last week at the Combine, just reading between the lines, that was where that seemed to be heading. So that was less surprising. I do think that Aaron Rodgers could do us all a favor and just give us a little less drama this coming offseason, though. Like, let's just let's just let things simmer down and let's just everybody be happy and shake hands.
That'd be great.
Give us a break, okay? Give us a break. So hopefully that works out. Now, Russell Wilson, that one, I think surprising, yes, but I guess not so surprising when you consider the fact that I guess it was the worst-kept secret that Denver was very interested in acquiring Aaron Rodgers. If you can't get Aaron Rodgers, what was the next best option? Certainly Russell Wilson. And actually Russell Wilson is younger, so maybe in the long term this is a better deal. Look, that's not a deal that you see every day in the NFL. It's a blockbuster. It was massive, but I tell you what, I like it. And I tell you for Denver, I like it. I think Seattle got plenty. If they're going to rebuild, you might as well go big, and they are going big. But for Denver, I like it because it puts them in the conversation immediately. No question about it. They have a really solid foundation on that team. They've got some weapons on the outside. I think Russell's going to like that. I think those guys are going to thrive. They have had one of the worst quarterback situations in the NFL for about 5 years. So they have now flipped that to now having one of the best. So we'll see. I mean, that puts a lot of expectations on them, but I really like where Denver's going here. I think they're in the conversation, and I think this really just kind of drives home a point that I've been beating on for a long time, which is you either have the guy or you don't in this league today. And maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not, but that's where we are. And one move can change the entire trajectory of your franchise. That's where the game is today. It's basically basketball. If you either have a super team or you don't, and if you don't, you're probably going home. That's where we are. I think there are some exceptions, but they're few and far between.
Stephen Holder from The Athletic has been our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Does a great job covering the National Football League. Stephen, appreciate you as always for taking time to join us this morning.
Hey, anytime, guys. Take care.
Absolutely. Stephen Holder, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll come back. We'll react to what Stephen had to say there. Welcome more of your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Attention, men. Have you been struggling with erectile dysfunction? Well, Hillside Medical Clinic has a breakthrough treatment for ED that does not require any pills, injections, or surgery. Right now, my friend Andrew joins me to tell us all about it from Hillside Medical Clinic. Andrew, what's going on?
Hey there, how's it going? That's right, guys. We have something pretty unique here. If you're frustrated in the bedroom, whether that's mild erectile dysfunction or it's severe, our acoustic wave therapy at Hillside Medical Clinic, just a few 10-minute sessions, not invasive, with pressure waves. The pressure waves open up and regrow the blood vessels. You can imagine what wider blood vessels does to activity in the bedroom. Pretty great things. We've helped so many men get rid of their ED without the use of pills.
So, Andrew, what kinds of studies have been done on this new technology?
It is extensive. If you go to hillsidemedicalclinic.com, you can read 50 studies, major universities, hospitals, journals. They have said safe and effective, no side effects, no adverse events, and that it truly can get rid of the ED by going to the root cause.
And, Andrew, you have a special offer for our listeners. Call in right now.
We really believe in delivering a lot of value. If you're frustrated, if you're ready to get rid of those pills and end the erectile dysfunction, call us now. The exam, assessment, even the blood flow ultrasound is free with zero obligation, plus the gift that, very popular, produces immediate results in the bedroom. It's worth hundreds of dollars, free to callers now.
You heard it, guys. You can put a stop to your erectile dysfunction by treating the root cause of the problem. Call Hillside Medical Clinic right now to qualify for that offer at 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your ED and regain your love life. Call Hillside Medical Clinic right now at 615-576-5000. Let me tell you about my friends at the Nashville Predators as well. Season tickets for the Preds 2022-23 season are on sale now. You can have full, half, and quarter season plans that are available to you. Join the Loyal Legion today and receive the best seat selection, priority access to the 2022 Stanley Cup playoff tickets as well. And as a season ticket citizen, your tickets for round one of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs will be up to 20% lower than your regular season price. Tickets to round two of the Stanley Cup playoffs will be the same as your regular season price. So make sure you check that out now. Season ticket citizens receive season-long benefits, including concession discounts, Nashville locker room discounts, pre-sales to shows at Bridgestone Arena, savings on Preds Foundation's event, and so much more. You can learn more at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robby and Rexrode, we talk with the legend Terry Chris about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, it's Rick. I'm at the Smith home. Where's Donnie?
Leaves and autumn bookings pile up for Rick's gutter cleaning service.
He's out? Come on.
He needs help before his bottom line gets clogged.
Okay, well, what about Cristiano? We still got 6 houses today.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You're gearing up to get back out on the field, so you ordered ball game essentials like a new glove, cleats, and a jumbo pack of sunflower seeds. And you used your Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards that you put toward the cost of an essential piece of your post-game recovery. A heating pad. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Go to theGameNashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. Right now, there are deals from everything from half off the Woodhouse Spa, half off dining at the Mainstay and Hard Rock Cafe, half off to Brooklyn Bowl, plus $50 free with a purchase of $100 in downtown dollars. You can check out all of Nashville's best deals now at theGameNashville.com/deals. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks to Stephen Holder from The Athletic for joining us in the last segment. We'll have Hal Gill, Preds radio analyst, coming up at 9:30, looking ahead to the Preds and the Ducks later tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Right now, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Indy Ben on the text line texting in says, it doesn't surprise me at all, but even Colts hater Jared tried to spin this as a loss for Indy with the trade of Wentz. I still think he's sour that the Titans are stuck with Tannehill. Fact is, they were able to get value for a quarterback who's clearly not the guy. Getting a likely early second and third round pick is much better than I would have guessed. Now the Colts have options and plenty of cap space, and getting a free agent like Winston or Trubisky who can manage the team for a year until they get their long-term guy in 2023's draft with a better quarterback class is a much better option than sticking with Wentz, who would have made Indy an average team. This is coming from Indy Ben on the text line. So Indy Ben, big fan of the Carson Wentz trade.
So Indy Ben, so Mitch Trubisky's going to make him a great team? I mean, come on, man. Look, is Indy going to win the division with whatever their choice is here at quarterback? I mean, look, I agree that it's a better landing here to get some picks back, but let's not forget what you gave up for Wentz. And you don't know who the next quarterback is. And the choices, there's no choice there that's all that appealing. Come on.
I think he likes the 2023 draft part of it, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, if it's as good as everyone says, you better be awfully high in that draft. Now, I understand you can put it together a big package to move up. The Colts aren't going to be 3-14 this year. So, that looks like a draft where it might be like quarterback right at the top. So be ready for that.
Also, this time last year, Spencer Rattler was supposed to be the first overall pick. And how'd that work out?
That's a great point.
So,
yeah, no, that's a great point. And again, this bad draft class with baby hands, Pickett, and whoever else, you could have the greatest quarterback of all time in this mix. And next year, this amazing quarterback class, they could all be busts. I mean, that's what it is. But I think one thing Steven said last segment that resonated, and I think certainly resonates here, is it does feel increasingly like that, right? You have the guy or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's where, if you're a Titans fan, you're not feeling great this week, but you have to move forward and understand that, you have a good quarterback, but you don't have the guy.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Got a texter that says, I see the Colts getting Marcus Mariota. You talk about something I'm pulling for.
Oh,
give me Mariota on the Colts, please.
I'm here for every last second of that. I guess I'd be surprised. I mean, those guys had a front row seat to Marcus here.
They did.
And I guess I'd be surprised if they were all that enamored with him. But would that be amazing? Oh, that'd be amazing. Well, however it worked out, Titans fans, I'm sure, would feel really good about their chances. But of course, Mariota would have a shot to come back in here with the division rival. Man, good theater.
Can you imagine what the conversation on, let's just start with our show, what it would be like if Mariota came in here and beat the Titans with Ryan Tannehill? And then fast forward that to what Jared's reaction would be if this happens with Mariota coming in and taking down Ryan Tannehill. That'd be something.
The Tannehill tattletales would be,
they would be tattling, guys. They would be tattling.
There'd be a lot of tattling on everybody who ever suggested Ryan Tannehill should be in the NFL.
Dennis on the text line says the Colts had to cut their losses. They didn't, quote, do a good job. The Wentz trade ended up being an epic fail for them. This is coming from Dennis on the text line.
Exactly. I mean, so look, Indy Ben, I appreciate your need to spin things positively because you're Indy Ben and you love the Colts. But I mean, if you want to, if you want to look at it in a vacuum, I agree. Like, hey, good job. Like you got something out of this, but this is all part of a huge fail on the part of the Indianapolis Colts. Huge fail.
A texter that says, I think there's another angle on the Russell Wilson to Denver trade. He got sent to probably by far the best division in football. 6 games a year against those division rivals. Ouch. Well, the thing is, he's just came from what was probably the best division in football and now is in a division where it could be in the same situation. So Russell Wilson has experience playing in the best division in football.
I think this is a good example of how like fans and media look at things and how if you're actually a competitor who is at that level of player, you probably would laugh at that. Oh yeah, division with Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Oh no,
Don't disrespect Derek Carr.
No, there's Derek Carr too. Derek Carr is, by the way, we didn't really talk about Derek Carr, but I think the Colts could make a play there.
I would make a call. Like if you're the Raiders, I don't really know why you're giving him up, but I would make a call.
I agree on both things. That's one of those. It hasn't been talked about a ton, but if I'm Chris Ballard, I'm absolutely, because I would be much more interested in Derek Carr than Jimmy Garoppolo personally.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Got a text that says, y'all live for the drama, LOL. Yes, we do. I assume talking about the Mariota situation. We do. I'm here for the drama.
We love the drama. We love the tea.
Hey,
we love it all.
If
Aaron Rodgers wants to keep doing some stuff, have at it, buddy. Keep going, man. It's fine with me. No, Joe would want to jump off a bridge, but it's fine with me.
Hey, I mean, it's all about storylines, And look, in all seriousness with Mariota, I mean, I would like to see him get another chance. I don't know how confident I am that he would take full advantage of it, but he's also better than some guys who have been starting in this league. I do believe that. So, but the idea of him coming back here into this division, man, sounds fun to me. We don't want things to be boring.
Imagine how good he'd be, like if skipping rocks was an Olympic sport. Man, he'd be out there.
Do you think he threw sidearm or something? Like what?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, when Mahomes and Stafford do it, that's like,
Well, they complete the pass. Oh my God.
That's true. He never completed a pass. That's a good point.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Got a text that says, if you thought Tannehill training all week for the Dolphins game was bad, imagine Marcus training all offseason for 2 Titans revenge games. My goodness. He's probably on the beaches right now of Hawaii, just getting ready. One-handed push-ups to the right, one-handed push-ups to the left. Getting on that surfboard, practicing the balance a little bit. Drinking some milk to make sure those bones are ready to go.
A picture of stuff. John Robinson, like in his little gym there, and looks at every day.
Target practice throwing footballs at J-Rob's head. Yeah.
Oh gosh. That's the thing about Mariota is like, he was always like annoyingly polite, right? Like no matter what, good evening, good afternoon. He'd like lose a game by 30. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
But he would talk a little trash in the field sometimes.
He would
talk a little trash in the field sometimes. Was it Barry Word? No, not Barry.
Barry
Word.
Church.
God, Barry Word. Now I'm dating myself on Kansas City Chiefs running backs. Yeah, Barry Church gets a stiff arm, and Mariota gets up, and I was like, oh, look at this.
He took Barry Church to church.
That's right. He was a competitor. He is a competitor. I shouldn't say was. I shouldn't talk about him in the past tense. He is a competitor.
That's right.
And I would rather have Marcus Mariota as my quarterback than Mitch Trubisky. I'll tell you that much.
Don't tell NFL media that right now. Apparently, the Mitch Trubisky revenge tour is going to be quite something to behold next year, apparently. I can't believe we're talking so much about Mitchell freaking Trubisky this offseason. It's unbelievable to me.
I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I mean, he runs around and he can make a pretty throw every once in a while, but you can say the same thing about Mariota.
Yeah. We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll get a little bit more into the Carson Wentz trade, get Joe's thoughts on that coming up on the other side as well. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is Phil Tomasino, and this is Smashville.
Cousins put it in front of the score. Tomasino lofts it in. 2-0 Nashville.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
When you cut lawns for a living, reliability matters. The Kubota commercial lineup, with purpose-built mowers like the Z700 zero-turn, SZ stand-on, and W-Series walk-behind, decrease downtime and increase productivity. A comprehensive fleet program with special discounts and free loaners helps grow your business one perfectly manicured lawn at a time. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale. Family Leisure has truckloads of new model merchandise. Spas as low as $29.99.
Okay.
Family Leisure is getting all the new patio furniture styles, the guaranteed largest selection, and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
That's interesting.
Factory Direct pricing on pools. 24-foot pools starting as low as $29.99 installed. 6 months, same as cash.
Grill, smokers, and grill islands are on sale too.
Even the massage chairs, theater seating, and leather sectionals. That's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale. Going on now.
Both locations, Antioch and Franklin.
Coach's Corner Sports Grill, nestled in Spring Hill, Tennessee, is your hometown sports bar. Coaches, players, grandparents, parents, kids, all are welcome. Hang out after a ball game or watch your team win on the big screens. Try their signature hand-patted burgers from the All-American to the X's and O's. Or choose something from the dog pound, such as their chili cheese dog. And don't forget to wash it all down with their 20-plus beers on tap. Coach's Corner Sports Grill, open every day with daily food and drink specials for lunch and dinner. Off Port Royal Road in Spring Hill. Online at coachescornersportsgrill.com.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. I want to tell you about this new social sports betting app I've been loving called Wager, W-A-G-R. Rather than betting against the house, Wager lets you bet with other people in Tennessee. It can be your friends, coworkers, or even me. As a special promo for ESPN 1025 The Game listeners, if you're over 21, go to wager.me/DMAC, and you'll get free wagers that you can use to challenge me. That's WAGR.me/DMAC. Join me and challenge your community, not the house. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-889-9789 for help.
Hey, it's Mark Howard here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Apple Collision Centers for a while now, and today I'm here with CEO Stan Harrison to tell you about how they can help ease your stress with your auto body repair.
That's right, Mark. We have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Our people are homegrown right here in Middle Tennessee with over 75 years experience. We can help with all your auto body repair needs.
So stop by and see Stan and his team today and tell them Mark sent you, or visit them online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Tonight, Vanderbilt's bid in the SEC tournament continues.
It's good. Count it. And one. Jordan Wright.
Catch all the action starting at 7 on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Got a texter that says, what will make the Indy fail an even bigger fail is if they trade a first-round pick for Jimmy G. This is coming from LD from McMinnville. That would have to be a future first-round pick because they don't have one this year. But would you, if you're Indy, like if the price for Jimmy G is a first-round pick, are you trading your 2023 first-rounder away for Jimmy G? Oh, man. I guess you could, but I don't know if I'd do that.
I don't think I would.
Jameis Winston.
I agree. I would sign Jameis Winston before giving up something like that for Jimmy G. That's Jimmy G is going to be really interesting. Like, what is we know the Niners are trying to trade him. What is the market who are the suitors who get in on that? A lot of the teams that you would list, first of all, I'm sure are first saying, okay, what about Deshaun Watson, right? And again, it's like that pecking order. Like, okay, now this falls into place. Rodgers falls into place. Wilson, now you start to see it all fall into place. I just have a hard time trading a first-round pick for Jimmy G if I'm a GM right now. But
me too.
Maybe someone will. I don't know.
The Tampa, you get up first rounder for Jimmy G?
If I'm anybody, I have a hard time doing that. He has there's some analytics that are very favorable to Jimmy G. Like, and I forget whose story I was reading, but expected points added. Jimmy G was like third in the league or whatever. But another problem with Jimmy G is that I think that he benefited a lot from his play caller. I think he benefited a lot from his scheme.
Yep.
And I think you put him in something else and you may be even more underwhelmed by Jimmy G.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So, he's the one that's naturally people are connecting to Indy right now. I don't know if that's the route I'd go or not. Like, to me, is there really that big of a difference between Jimmy G and Carson Wentz? Now, maybe in some of the other stuff that we've talked about in terms of leadership and off the field stuff, maybe there is. Like, maybe Jimmy G is just a lot better. And maybe that's the difference if you're the Colts. I don't know. But on the field, I guess you could argue that Jimmy G's maybe a little better. I don't know. Like, I don't think there's much of a difference at all between Jimmy G and Carson Wentz on the field.
Well, look, it's the thing. So listen, and this is you can kind of tie it to the Tannehill thing too. Because Tannehill, look, I think we saw it last year. With Tannehill and Wentz. Tannehill was better. He beat him twice. Tannehill's a better leader. Tannehill's very respected. It matters. Tannehill had reservations about the vaccination, got it. Wentz didn't, and all that happened there. But let's also remember what Stephen Holder said. He's talking about the three previous guys. Well, Phillip Rivers was an incredible off the charts. Well, they got rid of him after 1 year. Jacoby Brissett, that's great, but he wasn't good. He's not good enough,
Right.
So there's limitations to what it means. I do think that it's part of why the Titans, the Titans they're stuck with Tannehill this year, but I think that's part of why there's still a good feeling, a better feeling than I think certainly some places outside about him because of that, but it has its limitations. I could see Jimmy G being a lot better than Wentz in that way, but again, Phillip Rivers, just go back and convince him to come back for a year. You signed him for a 2-year deal at first, right?
Yeah. Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Niner trucker texting in by way of Memphis, goes to Franklin, Kentucky every day. Says, y'all talk bad about Jimmy G every day. I really hope the Colts get him and beat y'all twice a year and also win the AFC South. This is coming from Niner trucker on the text line.
So a Niners fan who loves Jimmy G. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't you then actually hope that he stays in San Fran with the Niners because he's so great?
Yeah. Maybe ship Trey Lance off to Indy.
Yeah. How about that?
There's
Trey Lance. You pay a lot less for Trey Lance.
There was some Jordan Love talk to Indy the other day. Like, could Indy go get Jordan Love from the Packers? What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. If that's the way it goes, if you're a Titans fan, probably need to get on the pull-up bar like Jared Stillman and get one of those sweaty videos ready.
He said yesterday his celebration video of Wentz wasn't sweaty enough.
Because he was a little bit more to it.
He was more right than he realized.
Well, I guess you could make the argument that he was. Let's say in all seriousness, Jimmy G ends up being the quarterback of the Colts. What does the AFC South picture then look like in your mind? Knowing that, they could still go out a wide receiver. They've got $70 million in cap space. Like, we don't know what all the offseason moves are going to be for the Titans or the Colts. But right now, as things sit here today, if Jimmy G is the quarterback of the Colts, what does that do in the AFC South?
Well, I think with Jimmy G, they'd be there. I mean, they'd be in the race. Because I'm going to assume that Chris Ballard is going to put that cap space to use and improve his team. Chris Ballard has been overrated. There's no doubt about that, but he does have a good roster with a ton of cap space right now. So he's got a chance to put together a pretty good team on the field in 2022. And he does have one of the best backs in football, good offensive line, a lot of good pieces on D. They need to address that too. With Jimmy G, I think it's a race between the Titans and the Colts. And that's me, again, presuming there's going to be some better players in certain spots for the Colts. I think with Jimmy G, and this is kind of to the point that Steven was making about, can you find a safe game manager? If you can improve your team enough, can you find the quarterback who doesn't make the killer mistake? Because Jimmy G does. That's the concern for me with him. I don't think he's terrible or anything. I don't think Wentz is terrible, but when you just seem to have that penchant for the big mistake in the big moment, at some point, that becomes kind of who you are. And maybe that's who Ryan Tannehill has become too, by the way. So it's not confined to those teams. And this is a concern for the Titans too. But I think it would be a race. Good race.
I think it would be too. I just like if that's the trade-off, I'm still feeling pretty good about that if I'm a Titans fan. Like it doesn't guarantee anything. But right now, honestly, if it wasn't going to be Wilson or Rodgers or Watson, which again, I don't give much thought to Houston actually being stupid enough to do that. Like if it's not going to be one of those three guys, like I still feel pretty good about the Titans' chances to win the AFC South next year. I know that, maybe if you get a big time wide receiver in there, if you're Indy, it makes a big difference. We've talked about the Titans' schedule next year. It's more difficult. I mean, I don't think Indy's traveling up to Green Bay next year to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Like obviously a lot of their schedule is the same because they're in the same division, but having a number one schedule is a little bit different if you're the Titans there. So there are factors that could go into it. I heard you guys on Jared versus Joe yesterday talking about, what's the record going to be? Maybe is it 10-7? Is it 11-6 if you're the Titans? Is it maybe 5-12 as has potentially been thrown out there? I don't know. He seemed to deny that pretty strongly yesterday.
Well, he said apparently he didn't say it, but someone counted it up. And he called out 12 L's. I don't know. I didn't listen. I can't verify. A source said.
A source
said he said 5-12.
But again, like, do I feel that much different if it's Jameis Winston? Like, do I think the Colts are all of a sudden the favorite in the South if Jameis Winston's the quarterback? No, I don't. Like, there's nobody they can go get right now that's going to make me think that they're the favorite outside of like a Deshaun Watson.
Yes, and so that's the thing. So if they somehow it's all kind of conspiring to hurt them, unless I understand Eddie Ben next year's a quarterback job. That's fine. But I agree with Holder. Like they're not doing the long-term thing this off season.
Right.
I could be wrong. There may be a team out there that looks at Jimmy G and says, that's who I want to be my quarterback for the next 5 to 7 seasons. Maybe that is the case, but I don't think that's it for Indy. So I think it's a Band-Aid situation no matter what you do. I mean, that's why, like, again, if they really like someone and they found some way to move up this year, that would be the worst case scenario for the Titans fan is that the Colts find the long-term answer. Because right now, going from pretty good QB to pretty good QB year after year after year, I mean, continuity also matters, by the way, in sports. We talk about it in coaching and OCs and all this time. It kind of matters at quarterback too, doesn't it? Like every single year, you got Darius Leonard tweeting about it, like basically ripping his GM because it's like, dude, like this is the most important player on the team and you have a different one every year.
Well, also like now what I'm pretty interested in, like it was pretty clear that Jim Irsay was not happy with Carson Wentz. Obviously, I think that's pretty crystal clear at this point. Frank Reich, as he said, stuck his neck out for him. If they go through another season next year, whether it's Jimmy G or Teddy Bridgewater or Jameis Winston, whoever ends up being the quarterback in Indy, and they miss the playoffs again, like is Frank Reich going to get fired? Is Chris Ballard going to get fired? I don't know, but I would imagine the feeling on those two in Indy is way different than it was this time last year.
Well, no doubt. I think Reich could be maybe a little bit separated from Ballard. I mean, Ballard's done more good work there, right?
Sure.
Reich won, as he said last week in Indy. Like he put it all out there, said, I want Carson Wentz. So Reich is now in the crosshairs because of doing GM stuff. And then also there's a lot of, there's I think fair criticism about Reich in game on some Sundays as well. So yeah, it's a very different discussion around those guys.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. When we come back, it is time for Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. The Nashville Predators in action tonight, taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Be the first caller at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Your opportunity to guess the goal scorer tonight for the Predators. If you get it right, you win a pair of tickets to a future Nashville Predators home game. We'll get to that coming up on the other side. The Players Championship is back with one of the best fields in golf, and now you can take a shot at the Island Green with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get 30-1 odds on Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, or Xander Schauffele to make the cut at the Players. That's right. If any of those players make the cut at TPC Sawgrass, you win $150 on a $5 bet. I really like Justin Thomas to do well. I think he's got a good chance to win the tournament this weekend at TPC Sawgrass as well. But you take it any way you want to take it. There's no better time to get in on the action with FanDuel Sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app with promo code ROB to get 30-1 odds on JT, Colin Morikawa, or Xander Schauffele to make the cut at the Players. Sign up with promo code ROB so they know that I sent you. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. A max bet of $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Good looking day today, sunshine with highs heading back to the upper 50s and lower 60s. We are code red for snow moving in tomorrow night.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Get that luxury watch you've always dreamed of this weekend at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis is hosting a spectacular 3-day event featuring a huge selection of pre-owned Rolex watches. Yes, these are the timepieces you can't find anywhere, but Genesis has them. Daytonas, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejust, Sky Dwellers, and more. Come pick out your luxury pre-owned Rolex and get up to $3,000 in Genesis gift cards, plus 60-month special financing. Our buyers are on site for this event, so if you already own a Rolex and want to sell it, you'll get top dollar. Or trade yours for a different model. All Genesis luxury pre-owned Rolexes are hand-selected and rigorously inspected in pristine condition, and our selection has never been better. Don't miss this special pre-owned Rolex buy, sell, trade event at Genesis Diamonds this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Both locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Curve on front, and the score!
Who's going to find the back of the net in tonight's Preds game? Robby and Rexrode make their picks to click and welcome a listener to do the same. Pick to Click is brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, the official vodka of the NHL.
And it is that time of the day, time for Preds Pick to Click here on Robby and Rexrode, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. We need your participation, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Be the first caller for your opportunity to guess the goal score tonight for the Nashville Predators. If you get it right, you win a pair of tickets to a future Nashville Predators home game. Big game tonight coming up for the Preds against the Anaheim Ducks at Bridgestone Arena. Right now, the Predators holding down the first wild card spot in the Western Conference. They are 1 point ahead of the Stars. Right now, 5 points ahead of the Ducks, who are out of the playoff picture at the moment. But Edmonton, Vancouver, Anaheim, Winnipeg, all kind of right there together outside of the playoff line, looking in behind the Predators and Dallas. And by the way, Preds 1 point behind Minnesota, 3 points behind St. Louis in the standings as well. So going to be a heck of a race coming down the stretch here in the Western Conference. The standings are as such in Preds Pick to Click. No movement from the other day. Ryan Johansson and Roman Josi scoring the other night against Dallas. They were not picked, so the standings remain. The listeners with 15 correct answers. Joe Rexrode in second place with 12. Robbie Stanley with 10. Michelle Knezovic with 7. So, Joe, 3 behind the listeners for you, 5 behind the listeners for me. We've got some work to do with the season drawing to a close. The stretch run is upon us.
Yeah, I'm mostly interested in beating you two. If I beat you two, I'm happy.
So have you already given up on the overall competition, is what you're saying?
Well, I haven't given up, but, the listeners are not doing enough picking of Matt Benning to my liking.
Well,
they did once. And did he score an own goal? He almost scored an own goal?
He almost scored an own goal, yeah.
We need more of that.
Maybe it's time for Ben Harper today, baby. I'll leave that door wide open for you.
He's there. He's there for the taking. You're a big Ben Harper guy now.
A big Ben Harper guy. So, Joe, we're going to do something today that we've not done to this point. Callers are a little bit late today. So we're going Joe Rexrode, first pick overall.
Whoa, that's too
Lots
bad,
of pressure.
Callers. Why am I taking this long?
It's a tough decision for you.
Philip Forsberg.
Was it really that tough?
Well, Matt Duchene is tearing it up right now, man.
I know.
But yes, I'll go with number 9.
Michelle Knezovic, are you prepared for the second pick in the competition?
Heck yes, I am. Give me Matt Duchene.
Matt Duchene, the competition. All right, so now we go to Jason from the Borough on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. So, Jason, Forsberg and Duchene are off the board. Your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators.
We'll say Roman Josi.
Roman Josi, the selection. Very nicely done. Jason, we appreciate you calling in.
All right, thank you. Thanks for taking my Phillipsburg pick, too.
Absolutely. So this is
good timing. I like that timing on the listener's part.
I just love how Michelle snuck that one in there when she knew the caller was on the line.
Oh, wow.
That was well done by Michelle.
Listen, in my defense.
Came in the system.
In my defense, Robbie, he was going to pick Philip Forsberg. Oh, but then I guess Joe was going to pick Matt Duchene.
I'm sure he would have picked Matt Duchene.
Yes. Yeah, and then we know what number 2 was. Very well done. Oh, that's right. We have a caller here.
Oh,
here
look,
go.
the caller's on the line. Well, let me just get to that
go.
right after. That's good stuff.
That's what a good MC does. You run the show.
You know what? I'm running the board back here, guys. Got to make sure everything goes on smoothly. We had to make sure he was all set on hold before we put him on the air.
Look, if you guys want to operate with some shenanigans out there, that's fine. Rexrode going first overall, been in the system. Give me Luke Cunnin. I really like the way that line played the last game. I thought Granlund, Tolvanen, and Cunnin were good, especially defensively. I thought they had some good chances offensively as well. Cunnin had a few chances on the doorstep. I think he scores tonight. I'm going Luke Cunnin, and I hope he scores 5 times tonight, and your guys don't score at all.
If Cunnin scores and neither Duchene and Forsberg score,
you get 2 points.
I no, we can't give him 2 points, but I would like to say I almost would consider it.
Why?
No, you can't.
Why, Joe?
Because that's not how we can't bend the rules now. But I will. It'll be a nice tip of the cap. Very nice tip of the cap to Robbie.
I would give you 2 points, Robbie, but obviously Rexrode has other ideas on that.
Really appreciate the tip of the cap from Rexrode. Does me a real good amount of good in this.
The rules are the rules. The rules are the rules.
That's true.
We need to have standards. We need to stick with them.
This has been Pred's Pick to
That'd be
Click,
amazing,
brought to you
though.
by New Amsterdam Vodka. Robby Stanley, the one playing it forthright in the competition, along with Jason from the Borough as well, Rexrode and Michelle. Different story today in the competition.
You said, here, pick. I picked. What did I do?
I'm just saying that
I'm innocent.
I'm just saying for the first time in the history of the competition, you got to pick first ahead of the listener. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, good timing, Jason in the Borough. Good timing. Let's keep it. Let's stick with that energy. Calling like 2-3 minutes into the segment. Especially when I have the number one pick.
Well, I was going to say, you got to time it up right as well. Big game tonight for the Preds. We had Dan Lambert, Preds assistant coach, on earlier. This is a big one. If you could get this done and you go 4 for 4 in terms of the points at this point in the season, number one, if you win tonight in regulation, that's a 7-point gap between you and the Ducks. So it doesn't guarantee that you're going to finish ahead of them, but a 7-point gap is pretty good this time of the year. So you want to put as much distance on the teams behind you as possible, but also you keep winning. That's going to make that St. Louis game all the more interesting coming up on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's amazing that the Stars got themselves from double digit points behind to where they are, which is at right now, 1 point back, both having played 56 games, but also that the Preds are in a situation where, now it's St. Louis and the Preds both played 56 and they're only 3 points behind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all up for grabs after the Avs, of course.
By the way, can we just talk about the Arizona Coyotes for about 10 seconds? They've been really bad all year. Their last 2 games, they've scored 8 goals and 9 goals, 17 goals in 2 games.
Explain that to me.
It's like the first time that's been done in like 26 years or something in the league. And it's the Arizona freaking Coyotes that have done it.
And who was that back then? It was like the old Oilers or something, right? It was probably an incredible team who did that. How?
Shout out to Arizona.
How does this happen?
The Desert Dogs getting it done. Nick Schmaltz has turned into the best player in the NHL, apparently. So how long I can keep that going? I got a text that says, Preds Pick to Click. One of you guys need to pick Jeannot. It's going to be a gritty game. He's the grit on the team. And as Robby said it best, if Jeannot, you know. That was maybe my worst line in the history of the show. But nobody picked Henry Jeannot.
I'm sure that wasn't your worst line.
I'm sure there's been more that are way worse. Nate texting in says, if the rules are the rules, why did Joe go first and y'all didn't wait for the listener? We can't wait. We can't wait the whole segment.
Yeah, what are we going to do? You call. I mean, here's the time. This is when we have Preds Pick to Click. You want to call? Great. You don't want to call? You get no pick. You want to call late? You get the pick that's right there for you. Well, we're not changing scoring system rules. Don't get me all mad, Nate.
How do you think the Ducks come out tonight? Because they've been sliding as of late, and you just got absolutely shelled by the Chicago Blackhawks. And as we know, Chicago is not good. Patrick Kane had 6 points the other night. They went 8-3 against the Ducks. And you can view this kind of a couple of different ways. You can view it as, all right, well, they're just starting to fall off the table. They've had some injuries as of late, and they're sliding out of the picture. Or you can view it as, well, they just got their butts kicked the other night. If you're the Predators, you better be ready to go from the jump tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like they've overachieved, right? I mean, they've definitely overachieved this season.
Yeah.
So are they hitting some kind of a wall? They've got to still relish the fact that they're in any kind of a race here as we head into mid-March. So it's just, again, there's just so many weird results in the league lately. I don't know what that is, but you just talked about 3 of them that are just like, what is going on in the league right now? You get the Preds the other day. I mean, I know the Sharks are bad, but 8-0.
Yeah.
Weird stuff going on.
No question about it.
That's my analysis.
I like it. We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Speaking of the Predators, when we come back, David Poyle had some interesting comments earlier this week on Darren Donick and Chase about Philip Forsberg and his contract extension. The negotiations still ongoing between Forsberg and the Predators. Is it time for concern based on the way that David Poyle addressed that question earlier this week. We'll get into that coming up on the other side. Speaking of the Predators, season tickets for the Preds for 2022-23 season are now on sale, and they've got all kinds of plans available for you, like full season, half season, and quarter season services as well. You can join the Loyal Legion today and receive the best seat selection, priority access to the 2022 Stanley Cup playoff tickets. And as a season ticket citizen, your tickets for round one of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs will be up to 20% lower than your regular season price. Round two of the Cup playoffs will be the same as your regular season price as well. And season ticket citizens receive up to 6 bonus tickets to share with your friends and family during the regular season in 2022-23. So if you'd like more information, lots of really good deals going on right now with the Nashville Predators and season tickets. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Once again, that's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Signs First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
The voice of reason.
No, you blew it. That's what happened. It didn't slip away. You blew it.
The voice of the fan.
The officials had let that game get out of control before anything got thrown.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
A doggone good start. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. Vanderbilt men's basketball opens SEC tournament play in Tampa with a dominant 86-51 win over Georgia. The Commodores knocked down a season-high 16 threes, held the Bulldogs to 29% from the field, and led in rebounds 43-31. Scottie Pippen Jr. led 4 players in double figures of 14 points, 11 each for Jordan Wright and for Miles Stute, who hit a trio of threes, a fun way to begin the postseason.
Man, it was fun to be out there with my guys today. Everybody got a chance to get on the court and taste the rock. Everybody got a chance to feel the ball. Felt like, man, it was a great game. I'm so proud of my guys. I think the ball just moved a lot better tonight. It was a great way to open up the tournament. Now we got a lot of momentum going into tomorrow.
Shane Dezzoni tied his season high with 10 points, and Wright grabbed 7 rebounds to lead Vanderbilt. Commodores had their full roster of players available for the first time all season. Got scoring from 13 different players, 38 points off the bench. So now it's Alabama in the late game tonight. Pre-game 7 o'clock Central on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from Learfield, tip-off around 7:30. More news from the football coaching staff. Head coach Clark Lee has named Nick Howell the defensive coordinator for the Commodores. Howell was hired last month to coach DBs after a half-dozen seasons as coordinator at Virginia. Vanderbilt opens up spring practice next Wednesday. Back on the mainland and back to work for the Vandy boys. The Commodore baseball team opens up a 3-game series on Friday against Wagner. And a busy week for men's tennis. Vanderbilt beat number 19 Northwestern on Wednesday 6-1. Vanderbilt now 9-2 on the season. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller is giving away free vacations for you and your family this month. With every purchase of a new whole home generator or select new HVAC systems, Hiller is giving you a free week-long vacation. With every purchase of a new tankless water heater, they're going to give you a free weekend vacation. And they're giving you a Visa Rewards card to help pay for gas to get you there. Choose from over 400 Marriott, Wyndham, Hilton, or Hyatt hotel properties. Take advantage of this unbelievable deal while you can. These deals are only available for a limited time, so schedule today. Visit happyhiller.com for all of the details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select the right products for your vehicle and your budget. Like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Save money on your next oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Bicycle Boy texting in says, The Preds need to remember the Kraken game and make sure that doesn't happen again. It's coming from Bicycle Boy on the text line. Joe, it does seem like, based on what Dan Lambert said earlier, what Granlund said yesterday here on the show, the Kraken game and that loss and how ugly it was seems to be, at least for the moment, pretty big sticking point with this group, and they've responded well since then.
Yeah, sometimes those games can be helpful. It's like, okay, everyone got your attention now, everybody? And it seems like across the board, they're pretty disgusted with that one. I mean, Granlund, I thought had some pretty strong comments on that yesterday. So, and of course, if they have a good week this week, it's easier to look back and say, aha, there's the line in the sand.
Yeah, no question about it. Joe, there were some interesting comments from David Poyle, Preds GM, earlier this week on Darren, Donick, and Chase. He joins that show every Tuesday morning at 11:15. Always a great interview between the guys and David Poyle. And as you might expect, he was asked about Philip Forsberg and the contract negotiations and where things stand on that front earlier this week. And I thought his comments were pretty interesting, particularly the tone of his comments. Here's what David Poyle had to say earlier this week regarding Philip Forsberg and his contract extension.
It's nothing new. I mean, we've talked to Philip and his agency. We're going to talk to them again this week. Again, it's business as normal. I'm not trying to trade him. I'm trying to sign him. Just keep at it here. I hope I have some good news to tell you on a show sometime in the next couple of weeks, obviously. But nothing new to share. Sorry about that.
So that was David Poyle earlier this week on the Philip Forsberg situation. And I don't know, we're in the time of the year where you start reading into everything. So I understand that. Did you kind of sense some frustration there? And I don't know if the frustration comes from having to answer the question all the time now, or if there's frustration from the way the contract negotiations are going. But I mean, to me, it kind of seemed like Poyle was a little upset there with the way that negotiations have been going. Yeah, nothing new. Not trying to trade him. Not trying to, I'm trying to sign him. Hopefully at some point we got some good news to share. I don't know. Am I reading too much into that, do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think it's like frustration with the question. He, of course, knows the question is going to be asked. So he sounded, I thought, again, a couple weeks ago, I thought he sounded, I don't know if it's frustrated, but really motivated to get the other side motivated. Yep. However you want to, whatever word you want to apply to that. This almost sounded depressed. And maybe that's too strong, but he sounded a little down, a little bit exasperated, maybe exasperated. How about that word?
Yeah.
I don't think you're reading too much into it. Now, again, this is one of those things where I feel like it's just going to have to be really close to the deadline. Right. And it's just going to have to be, okay, this is it. And maybe Forsberg's agent is just like, if you're not going to do A, B, C, or just B or X or whatever, then I got other things to do,
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear, like they're just stuck right now in neutral and they've got a stalemate over some point.
Yeah. And you're now at the point where, I've said there's plenty of time to get this done. And, obviously David Poyle has done a lot of these in terms of negotiations. You're less than 2 weeks away now from the deadline. So it's starting to get to the point where, all right, what do you do? Because I think it's pretty clear that barring a collapse of epic proportions, the Predators are at least going to be in the race. Like right now, they're at the number one wild card spot. There's a chance by the end of the week. I mean, they might be in the second spot in the division. I don't know where they're going to be by the time the week is over, but it's clear to me that they're going to be in the race come deadline time. Like, what do you do if you're Poyle? And like, do you have to almost, if you're Poyle, be like, all right, if you really want to be here, I need you to budge on something, or I'm going to have to trade you. Like at some point, does David Poyle have to be that frank with the agent? Be like, if he wants to be here, then we got to come together and get something done. Because if not, I got to move it. I don't know how David Poyle is going to handle that coming down the stretch. And maybe Poyle doesn't feel like he has to move it, but you're taking a heck of a risk at that point. Mute.
Dang it.
That's
such a good day.
2 in 2 days, Joe.
He
You were going
was-
so strong for so long.
Well, not only was he going strong, he was going well into whatever he was talking about there. Didn't even care he was on mute. It was good stuff.
The sad thing is I was making an incredible point with outstanding vocabulary and my voice was really smooth and I've lost it all.
Yeah, you just can't recreate it. It's okay, Joe.
So like, I think they it should be good if they signed him and stuff.
Thank you.
No, I feel like the other side might call Poyle's bluff though on that, I could see him be like, you're not trading him. You're not trading him. And you guys are in a playoff position. And
if you're Forsberg though, if you really want to be here, you want to call that bluff? I don't know.
And another question with Forsberg is this affecting him at all? That's where my hesitation came in picking him. It's like, I don't know, is it possible that this is having an adverse effect on him? It shouldn't, but also, I don't know what it's like to be in this situation. Can't be easy.
No. Dennis on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, says Poyle sounded defeated in that clip.
That's a good word too. It's a little bit. I think a little bit.
Again, I don't want to get too much into reading into comments this time of year. I just thought the tone in which he answered the question was pretty interesting. It seems like they're at an impasse of some degree. And I guess my question is, without knowing specifically what's going on, is that impasse something that eventually is that you're able to work around, or are both sides just so at this point dug in on whatever the impasse is that there's no movement? Because it did sound like Poyle was, I think exasperated is a good word. And I don't know what that means, because now you're less than 2 weeks away from the deadline.
Yeah. And it sounds like it made it sound like it's like a weekly check-in now. Okay. Here's where we are. Where are you up? Okay. Talk to you next week. If that's the case, it's going to probably become more frequent discussions as the date gets closer here.
Let's go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, and welcome in Sean from Dixon, who wants to weigh in. Sean, thanks for calling into Robby and Rexrode.
Hey, good morning, guys. You guys put words to a thought I've had over the last couple of weeks or last week or so, and that's, I can't remember which one of you guys said it, but I'm starting to wonder how much Forsberg actually does want to be here, more so than make his last big, paycheck, because of what you said. I wonder what the number is between what was offered and what he's willing to accept, and what the difference is there, how big of a gap. Because if it's not a very big gap, you would think that he would just be like, okay, I'm staying. But I don't know.
Thanks for the call.
Situation.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Sean. We appreciate it. Every conversation that I've had, I've never gotten the indication that Forsberg just wants out. I've never gotten that indication. I think he legitimately likes it here. I also know the money has to be there. He's not just going to sign a contract because he wants to be here, right? He wants to be paid what he feels like he's worth. And also, again, JP Barry, which is Forsberg's agent, he's been doing this for a long time. David Poyle's been doing this for a long time. It could be as simple as you get down a couple days before the deadline and one side caves. At some point, that happens all the time in negotiations. So I wouldn't necessarily go for the reach yet that Forsberg just doesn't want to be here. But I will say, if he gets through the deadline, whether he's traded or not, and he has not signed a contract extension, that question is going to come up a lot. Do you even want to be here? What's going on?
Yeah. I'd be surprised if he doesn't want to be here. That's not the vibe I get or have ever gotten.
Yeah.
But this is it. You got to understand that too. If you're a Preds fan, this is his last payday, and it's signing up for a very long time with a franchise. So I can see the appeal of one, being on the open market and knowing that you're going to get paid more because, well, again, he'll get paid more annually at least, right? I think that's generally a reasonable expectation, but then also having your choice of, maybe you just maybe there's someone in mind for him that he feels like has a better trajectory over the next few years, and he feels like he has a better chance of winning a cup there. I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities. But I'm with you. I feel like this is probably going to come down to one side or the other on whatever it is. Finally, in the end, saying, "Okay, we'll come to you here." I still think that they're going to get the deal done.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Predators on our text line. Got a lot of thoughts to get to coming up on the other side. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Join 1025 The Game this Sunday night for the Preds Bud Light watch party at Headquarters Beercade. You can have drink specials, enter to win Preds tickets, and watch the Preds take on the Minnesota Wild. It's the Preds Bud Light watch party at Headquarters Beercade, located at 114 2nd Avenue South, downtown. The puck drops at 6 p.m. coming up this Sunday. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 1025 The Game.
It was a battle in Smashville as the Predators defeat the Dallas Stars.
Yossi scores. Yossi with the shot, and the Predators take a 2-1 lead.
For our team, it's nice to see them get rewarded for doing the right things.
Next up, they take on the Anaheim Ducks tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Coverage begins at 6 on Smashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box store. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
The Electronic Express tax refund sale is going on now. Get huge savings in every department, including 4K TVs, mattresses, computers and tablets, housewares, smart home, and more. We have all of your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Professional quilt maker Dana Balliard once said, "There are no rules in quilting, and if you think that there are, then it's time you try breaking a few." Now, I like that type of creative entrepreneurial spirit, and that's why I do my adult beverage trading at Red Spirits and Wine. It's not just a great selection of distilled spirits, single-barrel Red Select whiskeys, great wines from around the world, and awesome craft beers, but it's more the way the folks at Red just go about their business. At Red, they keep it interesting and fun. The Cracker Jack crew makes you feel welcome after a hard day on the trail, never coming off like some of them snooty-nosed, big-talking whoop-de-doos. At Red, it's always square dealing with the best in service, selection, and prices. Plus, Red is locally owned by real folks, not some totally faceless corporation. There's no doubt in my mind, Red is my kind of place. Red Spirits and Wine, Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and at redspirits.com.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
If you've missed any of today's show, Just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Hal Gill, Preds radio analyst, joining us at 9:30 here in about 12, 13 minutes or so. Looking forward to that conversation with him. Right now, talking Philip Forsberg, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Nate texting in says, we don't know what Forsberg truly wants. Willie and everyone not wanting to trade him are holding on to the Tennessee no state income tax fact, and he could be paid more here. What if winning is more important to Forsberg and he isn't too sure if the Preds can win in his next contract years? I've said this all along. If you can't sign him by the deadline, you have to trade him. Poyle can't lose him for nothing. This is coming from Nate on the text line.
Well, I think I agree, Nate. I mean, yes, there are other factors. The Preds have the extra year they can offer that other people can't. The income Nashville. I think Forsberg, I mean, he's been here a long time. I think he likes living here. Most people do. But I agree that stuff is not going to overcome, I think, for most players, and I would say for him, the feeling that you can't win at a place, if that's truly what he thinks. That's why going into this year, that's why we were all talking about, you got to trade him, right? Because this team has surprised in a pleasant way. But is that enough for him to think that the next few years are going to be really good with the Preds? They still do have those other big contracts. They have some good young players. I mean, I think it looks pretty good, but maybe you're right. Maybe he's just skeptical that it's going to be enough, that they're going to have enough in the next few years to really be a contender for the Stanley Cup.
Well, and look, that's fine.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe he feels that way. Maybe he's right. I don't know. I guess my question to that would be, well, okay, where are you going in free agency that you're going to feel much better about that? Because, I mean, think about the contenders right now. Colorado cannot afford Philip Forsberg. Tampa Bay cannot afford Philip Forsberg. Pittsburgh cannot afford Philip Forsberg. I mean, with the salary cap being what it is, obviously Toronto, they cannot afford Philip Forsberg. Eventually, you can't pay Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and Philip Forsberg. It can't happen. So as the rosters stand right now, where are you going if you're Forsberg in the offseason that you just feel like is a lock to be a Stanley Cup contender? I don't know. The salary cap, I mean, it's in a tough spot right now in the NHL, which is part of why the Predators are in a good spot, because they're in a much better position salary cap wise than some other teams around the league are. So look, he may feel that way. I don't know. I guess my question, if I'm David Poyle, if he feels that way, is, all right, well, you're going to the open market. Where are you going that can afford you, that makes you think you're going to be in any of a better situation?
Right. Does he, how about the opponent tonight? The Anaheim Ducks are a nice, surprising young team. Huh? Yeah. Does he like LA? They got a huge amount of cap space.
Maybe he loves Victor Arvidsson so much that he would go to the Kings.
Well, maybe. The Red Wings have some cap space.
Sign him up for that.
Just saying. They're getting better. Stevie Y, they're getting better. Yeah. I mean, the Rangers are not in a bad cap situation. And I mean, I think they're good. They're on a good trajectory. Yeah. Does playing in New York have some appeal to Philip Forsberg? I don't know. To some players it does. There's appeal to being in the bigger markets.
Sure.
But you're right. There's no obvious answer. And then once you get to most of the best teams right now, which is no surprise, are some of the teams with the least amount of cap space. So, but I guess, I could still, even if you don't have that answer, this is where I want to go. If you're still skeptical about here, then that combined with, hey, let's see what the market actually says here and what the possibilities may be as they unfold, I could see how that would have appeal.
Let's go back to the text line. Got a texter that says it may not necessarily be money. It could be an issue with a no trade clause. I think it's very possible that could be what it is. I mean, we've talked about
that a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've talked about, obviously, David Poyle in his career, that has not been something that he's wanted to hand out like Halloween candy. He gave it to Yossi. He gave a modified version of it to Matt Duchene. I mean, I would I would think if you're David Poyle, like being realistic about it, you've got to know that if Matt Duchene got at least a modified version of a no trade clause, like that's the minimum for Forsberg, right? Like eventually you're going to have to just give it to players if you want them to sign. And he gave it to Yossi. Like if I'm Forsberg, there's no question about it. I'm asking for a full no trade clause. I don't know if he's going to ultimately end up getting that or not, but I'm hanging on to that as long as I possibly can if I'm Forsberg and his agency. And I think there's at least a good possibility that maybe that is an issue in negotiations right now.
I mean, it's almost hard for me to believe that it's not at least some decent amount of the discussion, it just would make sense based on Poyle's history. And I mean, Forsberg has seen up close and personal what, when you don't have one, what can easily happen to you with his friends, some of his friends.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Daryl from Columbia, who wants to weigh in. Thanks for calling into Robby and Rexrode.
Looks like the call just dropped, so try to get Daryl back on. Sorry, Rob.
Daryl, hit us back up. Oh, good. Wayne on the text line says, Poyle should have his bags packed if Forsberg is still here after the trade deadline and he is not re-signed. So let's play that out for a second, Joe. Let's say that they hold on to Forsberg and they treat him as their rental player, quote unquote. And Dan Rosen from NHL.com has come on with us and talked about that, said that's absolutely what he would do if he's David Poyle. Wouldn't even think about trading him. What do you think the reaction from the fan base would be if Forsberg's still here after the deadline and he's not been re-signed at that point?
Well, I think a lot of people will be really upset by that. And I think even the discussion around this team then becomes better make a run, So you've got a high price rental now. That's what Philip Forsberg has become. He has become your big time rental who may be with you for a few more weeks and then off to free agency. So you better make the most of it. Now, I think a lot of people will be upset because obviously that if you don't get that deal done, one, especially people who remember the Ryan Suter saga are they're gonna have PTSD from that, and it's just you'd have to. I think there'd be a lot of pessimism about the Preds actually ended up getting him back in the summer. It's worked out with Mikhail Granlund, but this is a totally different type of situation.
Go back to the 102.5 The Game phone line. Daryl has called back in. Daryl, thanks for calling into Robby and Rexrode.
Okay,
Daryl,
same thing happened again. Okay, sorry, okay. Daryl. Just text in, maybe.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Quit toying with us, Daryl.
Daryl, what's going on here, man?
What's up, Daryl?
We're professionals here on this program. Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Got a text that says, if you trade 9, where do you send him? You don't want him in the Central or the West. Who could take him in the East that's any good? That's the other thing here. Like, if you're trading Philip Forsberg, you're still going to be in a playoff race. So I can't imagine David Poyle and the Predators being like, you know what? Let's trade him to the Dallas Stars, or let's trade him to the Vegas Golden Knights or LA or whoever you could be in, the mix with in the playoffs. Now, having said that, I do think, the Rangers in the East are a good spot. They've got cap space.
That was what I was going to say.
They got a heck of a prospect pool. So, there are more than just the Rangers, but I have a feeling like if Philip Forsberg was available, I would imagine the Rangers, along with a long list of other teams, probably come a call with an offer. Just my guess.
Agree. How about the Caps? Full circle?
That'd be something.
A reunion with Lavi?
Yeah.
Would Forsberg be like super happy about that?
I don't know. Liam texting in says, if we traded Forsberg, what should we expect to get? It's coming from Liam on the text line. I mean,
a first.
Definitely a first is going to be a part of it. I think at least a first and probably one pretty high level prospect. That to me is kind of the minimum. I mean, Tyler Toffoli got a big return earlier this year, and I think Philip Forsberg is worth more than Tyler Toffoli. That's just me. Other people now, Toffoli also has some term on his contract too. So it's a different situation, but I think at least a first rounder and probably a mid to high level prospect is the minimum.
Which sounds great. Of course, so it's very hard to be better than Philip Forsberg.
It is. And that's what I've always said. It's fine to get a good return. I have no problem for that. But once you get those draft picks, you're then searching for someone who is hopefully as good as Philip Forsberg. I know everybody's like, well, no, you're searching for somebody to be better. Yeah. Okay. How many of those guys are growing on trees?
Yeah. I mean, you could be searching for a while, and that's the whole thing here. And that's why obviously the best case scenario for the Preds is to get this done. I still think it's going to be a real dicey 10 days here, but I'm going to bet right now. Maybe I'll call a shot that they're going to get it done.
Quickly, let's go to the text line. Matthew from Jolton texting in says, Forsberg for Panarin? ? That's not happening. They're not trading Artemi Panarin. And it would take, honestly, quite frankly, it would take more than Philip Forsberg to get Artemi Panarin. Panarin has 62 points in 52 games this year and has scored 95 points in his career, and 82 and 87 and 77. Guy's pretty good.
I like the thought, though.
Yeah, I like the thought as well. When we come back, we'll be joined by Hal Gill, Preds radio analyst. We'll get his thoughts on a big-time matchup for the Preds tonight against the Ducks. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Allen's going to be taken down. It's Harold Landry, the sack master for the Titans.
Harold Landry is returning to the Titans.
You have to have a pass rush. Landry's a big part of that.
The linebacker has agreed to a multi-year extension.
He's tough. He's smart. He's been a productive player for us.
What's next for John Robinson and the Titans?
I think wide receiver, great opportunity for that.
Keep it locked all off season for your best Titans talk
On ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The Players' Championship is back with one of the best fields in golf, and now you can take your shot at the Island Green with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, customers get 30-1 odds on defending champ Justin Thomas, Colin Moriaka, or Xander Schauffele to make the cut at the Players. That's right. If any of these players make the cut at the TPC Sawgrass, you get $150 back on a $5 bet. I'll go with Justin Thomas. I really like him. There's no better time to get in on the action with FanDuel Sportsbook. So step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the Players' Championship. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use the promo code JGM to get 30-1 odds on either JT, Colin, or Xander Schauffele to make the cut at the Players. Sign up with the promo code JGM so they know that I sent you on FanDuel Sportsbook. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only must wager in designated offer market. Max bet $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889. That's 789.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
This hour of Sports Talk brought to you by FlexCar.com. Do you really know how much your car costs a month? Payments, maintenance, insurance? That's a lot to juggle. And then there's FlexCar, a car of your own for just a low weekly rate, plus mileage. No financial juggling required. FlexCar.com.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale.
Which factory? From where?
Family Leisure has truckloads of new model merchandise from all their factories arriving daily.
Really? Like what?
Well, spas for one. All the new model spas are here and on sale. From Artesian, Viking, and Bimini Spas. Spas as low as $29.99.
Okay.
Family Leisure is getting all the new patio furniture styles. Hannah Mint, Tropitone, and Woodard are on sale. And there are still a lot of floor models left to sell at ridiculous prices. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Now that's interesting.
Family Leisure has factory direct pricing on pools. 24-foot pools starting as low as $29.99 installed. And solid wood slate pool tables are only $14.99 as well.
That means the grills, smokers, and grill islands are on sale too.
Of course. Family Leisure even has the new 24-lamp Wolf tanning beds on sale for $26.99.
Even the massage chairs, theater seating, and leather sectionals are on sale.
That's right. That's Family Leisure's factory direct sale going on now.
Both locations, Antioch and Franklin.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Minnesota Wild this Sunday. Puck drops at 5 o'clock, but the party starts at 4:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at Headquarters Beercade downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. It's also AutoZone's national hiring event. We're hiring all positions, from sales to warehouse and drivers, both part-time and full-time. Visit careers.autozone.com or any one of our stores. Get in zone, AutoZone. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Friday night, the Big 12 tournament is underway. As we have you covered with semifinal action. We'll join in progress at 6
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you, and we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Preds radio analyst Hal Gill, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, featuring their newest next-gen location at 500 Cool Springs Boulevard. Hal, what's going on? How we doing?
Doing great. Just still recovering after a huge win on Tuesday night. Looking for another big game tonight against the Ducks.
Going to be a big one tonight at Bridgestone Arena, no question about it. So, Hal, you've watched Roman Josi play for a long time. You've played with Roman Josi. He's been exceptional for a long time here. Is he playing better than he has ever played in your mind? And in your mind, could he be having the best season that we have ever seen in the history of this franchise by any player? He might break 90 points this year as a defenseman, which is absurd.
It is. It just seems like every night he's putting up numbers, right? It's like a 4-assist night, and he's just kind of ho-hum about it. You know, it's like you just kind of expect it. We're not totally jacked up about it. He's got another game winner, and then we're like just kind of watching what he's doing. It's almost like, yeah, of course he got another goal. Of course he put up 4 assists. You know, it's just kind of the way he's playing right now. The attack mindset that he has is just, it's pretty awesome to watch. I do like his defensive game. I feel like when he focuses on his defensive game, everything else kind of falls in line. And, you know, obviously he's playing big minutes and he's going to play against the top lines. And, you know, I think he's just handled it so well right now. So, yeah, this is as good as I've seen him play. He just keeps getting better. It was the fun part. And I will say I loved the way he was playing with Fabro. Fabro, I thought, had a really strong game, and they kind of worked together to make that game winner the other night, where they do that exchange. And I just feel like he's elevating his game, but he's also bringing everyone with him, and including Fabro.
Al, what do you think about the line switcheroo? Dan Lambert was telling us earlier, I mean, there was a matchup purpose there as well that worked out very well in that game. But do you think this is where it sticks?
Yeah, you know what? You put Johansson up, and I feel like every once in a while you got to throw a guy a bone, give him a different look. And I think playing with Forsberg and Duchesne, Johansson has kind of said, all right, you know, like, these guys are putting up numbers. I want to get in on that. And so Gronlund, who I feel like is, well, really both of those guys, you can put them against big lines. They play well against the top lines in the NHL. So you can match them up against anyone. But it's really interesting to me. I never thought I'd be looking at Eeli Tolvanen as a checking winger. You know, when he came in the league, he had that great shot, and you're like, this kid's a sniper. And amazing what he's done with his game. First of all, he's going out, he's hitting, he's physical on the forecheck, he's responsible defensively, and now he's playing with Gronlund and Cunnin in a defensive role and playing against top lines. it's pretty awesome to see. I think Gronlund kind of stirs the drink. He can play well down low defensively. He's going to block shots. He's going to give you whatever you need. And so that little switch, I think they're looking to make that second line as impactful as possible. And if you have a checking role between there's too many good players in the NHL, you need to have everyone kind of involved in the checking game. And so I think you have that beast line that you throw out there with Sissons, Trennan, and Jeannot. They can play against top lines, and then you have the Gronlund line with Tolvanen and Cunnin. I just think it really kind of rounds out that whole lineup. So I do like that switch, and I'm anxious to see how long Hines wants to stay with that, or if there's any more switches to come around. Is that just to mix it up a little bit because they weren't getting results? So ultimately, that's all you're looking for is how do you get wins? And right now, it seems to be working. So why would you change it up? Just stay with it, and hopefully injuries don't creep in, and you can have a solid lineup. Nice to have Cousins back too. As great as Matt Luff has played, you get Cousins in the lineup, and I think he can kind of fall in on any one of those lines as well.
Al Gill on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And Hal, we had Granlund on yesterday. We had Lambert on this morning, and both of them kind of talked about the Seattle loss as they were not happy with it. They met about it. They talked about it. They showed video of it. And my question for you is, when you have a loss like that as a player that no one's happy with, that everybody is kind of talking about, you get crushed for it in the media, all these different things. Can that be kind of a galvanizing point or a wake-up call? Like, how much can a loss like that maybe propel you forward if you're a team like the Predators?
It depends on how you look at it, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. I feel like the Preds with a start before they got out there, like before the All-Star break, I should say, they had such a great thing going where they were just rolling and getting win after win, and they felt pretty good about themselves. And I think the game kind of got away from them. Their identity kind of slipped. And you need a game like Seattle where you go, okay, maybe we're not that good. Maybe we're getting wins and we were working the right way, but we're not that good that we can cut corners. And I think Seattle was kind of a slap in the face, like, all right, this team is not good, and they just outworked us, and they won that game fair and square because they outworked us. And so I think it just kind of their thought process went back into check. We're not good unless we play the right way. And so you saw that obviously against San Jose with an 8-cob beating. They played the right way, and that was the line that went out there and played the right way and got most of their goals. So you follow that up with a huge win against Dallas where they really their team identity stood out, where they're playing hard defensively and working their forecheck, and we played a stingy game, and I think they need to play that way in order to win. And now they, hopefully that's not just a couple games here or there. That's a trend that they're going with because they're going to need it this week. You got the Ducks, a young team that's trying to fight in. They just got thumped 8-3 in Chicago, so they're going to be fired up and ready to go. So you're going to need a performance. And then you got St. Louis and Minnesota right in your division. You're trying to catch those guys. So this week should grab their attention, and I think that's what they needed a little bit of. And so, yeah, to your point, Seattle was definitely a slap in the face, and I think they handled it the right way.
Hal Gill on with us here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Thursday morning at 9:30. Brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, featuring their newest next-gen location at 500 Cool Springs Boulevard. Hal, tell us about your friends at Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, yeah, you talked about Cool Springs. I got one over here at Harding Pike. Of course, being from Boston, I love my dunks, but they're doing some big things. Another next-gen location opens up at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. On March 11th, the store will give away free coffee for a year to the first 100 guests in line. That's in-store only, and that starts at 8 a.m. So if you want dunks for a year, get over there, check it out. They're doing some amazing things, donating $1,000 to the Bridge House of Tennessee, which helps supplement food, clothes, and essential items for families in Lebanon. So a lot of good things going on around dunks here in Nashville. So go out there, treat yourself, go get your dunks.
Skillsy, you're a beaut. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. Let's have a good one tonight. It's going to be a Bridgestone was hopping the other night, and so I'm expecting more of that tonight.
Yep, no question about it. Hal Gill joins us every Thursday morning at 9:30 here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll come back. We'll react to what Hal had to say there. We'll get Joe's thoughts on the SEC tournament coming up tonight as well. Also, some breaking news on the Titans front as well. All that ahead. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Good looking day today, sunshine with highs heading back to the upper 50s and lower 60s. We are Code Red for snow moving in tomorrow night.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and pay time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Get that luxury watch you've always dreamed of this weekend at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis is hosting a spectacular 3-day event featuring a huge selection of pre-owned Rolex watches. Yes! These are the timepieces you can't find anywhere, but Genesis has them. Daytonas, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejust, Sky Dwellers, and more. Come pick out your luxury pre-owned Rolex and get up to $3,000 in Genesis gift cards, plus 60-month special financing. Our buyers are on site for this event, so if you already own a Rolex and want to sell it, you'll get top dollar. Or trade yours for a different model. All Genesis luxury pre-owned Rolexes are hand-selected and rigorously inspected in pristine condition, and our selection has never been better. Don't miss this special pre-owned Rolex buy-sell-trade event at Genesis Diamonds this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Both locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Used the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in. Final segment of the day here on Robby and Rexrode, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Joe Rexrode on his way to Tennessee Vols practice today down in Tampa, Florida for the SEC tournament. Joe, he joins us now by phone. Joe Rexrode, we will get to the SEC tournament part of it here in just a few minutes with you, but I do want to get to some breaking news on the Titans front. According to Adam Schefter and now others as well, the Titans have informed Pro Bowl guard Roger Saffold that they are releasing him per source. This would have been the fourth year of a 4-year, $44 million deal that had a $1 million roster bonus due next week. One more free agent guard. Also, that saves the Titans about $10.4 million in cap space. So Kendall Lamb and now Roger Saffold released as well today. Joe, I don't think a big surprise there, but now it has been made official. Roger Saffold has been released from the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, so I was wrong. I thought it was going to go Lamb, Jenkins, Saffold. Looks like it's going to go Lamb, Saffold, Jenkins. Again, don't know for sure that it's going to be Jenkins, but I think the Saffold thing I think it's the toughest one of the cuts, but I think it was also one of those that you looked at and, if you're going to just go status quo with Taylor Lewan, and look, maybe they'll try to do something there to reduce the cap stress, but if you're going to keep Taylor Lewan, it was just going to be so difficult to keep Saffold too. So now the question is, how are you going to be better up front in 2022 than 2021, losing one of the best run blocking offensive guards in the NFL?
Yeah, no question about it. And look, Saffold's had some injury issues, and he was kind of fighting through it all year last year. But there's no question about it. I mean, the running game in the left side. I don't know if it's a stretch to say that maybe in the passing game, replacing Roger Saffold at left guard, maybe not a huge deal, maybe not that big of a challenge. Yeah. In the run game, it's a pretty massive challenge to replace that guy. And the last thing you want to have happen is to continue to struggle to protect the passer, while also now your running game is really affected negatively with Roger Saffold being gone as well.
Look, Roger Saffold is one of the best free agent signings John Robinson's had. He had a little bit of a rough start in that 2019 season, just like the whole offensive line did. Some big pass blocking mistakes, things like that. But, I mean, by the end of that year, when they were just running all over people, he was a huge part of that. And, Jared made the point yesterday, well, he's hurt a lot, and that's true, but he still mostly guts it out and gets out there on Sundays. He had to leave a couple games. I mean, he had a shoulder thing that was pretty serious this year, but the guy has answered the bell on a lot of Sundays, played a lot of good football, one of his best free agent signings. So, to me, this also you have to, especially with Landry being signed and looking like that defense is mostly set, you have to think about the possibility of an early pick of an offensive lineman, as much as I'm sure a lot of Titans fans don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I think that's certainly on the table. And now the question is, where is Dylan Radins going to play? Is he going to be the left guard? Is he going to be the right tackle? How do they view him as they move forward here? And Ravel said it last week. Right now, Dylan's probably not ready to be a starter. Well, he better get ready this offseason, because if he's not ready come training camp time, you're in a world of hurt on your offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, could it be an offensive line? Do they run it back with Quessenberry, and then Radins is the guy in there, and then of course who's the center? I mean, there's a lot still to figure out with this offensive line, and if they're better up front next year than they were this year, I mean, to me that would be an upset.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. We'll be all over the Roger Saffold stuff throughout the day here on ESPN 102.5 The Game with Darren Donick and Chase and Stillman and company as well. Of course, we'll be back at it tomorrow as well. Joe, you are on the way to Tennessee Vols practice for the SEC tournament. Some games taking place today as well. Florida taking on Texas A&M, Missouri and LSU, Mississippi State and South Carolina, and Vanderbilt, after a big win last night against Georgia, they'll take on Alabama later tonight at 7:30 here locally. Let's start with Vanderbilt. What did you think of their performance last night, and what do you expect tonight against Alabama?
Well, Vanderbilt played well. They also played a team knowing that its coach was coaching his last game. And Tom Crean, who I've been, I've known Tom Crean since he was a little-known assistant at Michigan State in the 90s. He was as enthusiastic and energetic as he always is on the sideline, and his team didn't really match that. 12 minutes on a bucket. They actually got some pretty good shots, and none of them went in. Then it got out of hand, and it's good for Vanderbilt to be able to win a game and only have to play people 20 minutes. Pippen played 24. Rodney Chapman only played 10. He looked good. So, they got a chance. They had Bama. They let him get away a couple weeks ago. They did not have Chapman in that game. They have him now. It's obvious from last night hearing them talk. They're pretty confident about the opportunity to get him back.
What do you think of the Missouri LSU matchup? Can Conzo get it done against Will Wade? A little bit of an interesting week for Will Wade this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question, and I did like how Missouri played last night for sure. It was a rough year for Kermit Davis at Ole Miss, by the way, but how is LSU affected by all this stuff? Are they laughing at it? I don't know. Notice of allegations should be something serious, but still a very talented team. Like LSU's the team I look at. Like that's a team that could be a surprise, deep run team here in Tampa.
Well, Joe, we'll let you go and get after it today at practice here. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Robby and Rexrode. Enjoy your day at the SEC tournament.
Will do. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. If you missed it, breaking news, Joe will, by the way, have you covered tonight. Vanderbilt taking on Alabama at 7:30. He'll be there all tournament long at the SEC tournament. Michelle Konezvik will be there over the weekend as well. So some vacation time coming up for Michelle that she's very excited about.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I know you are. Breaking news on the Titans front. Roger Saffold, the Titans have informed him that they are releasing him today. Not a huge surprise there. Saves the Titans roughly $10.4 million in cap space, but now the offensive line is a big concern as you head into free agency, head into the draft. What's going to happen with Ben Jones? Will he be next? Is Ben Jones someone the Titans are going to bring back? Do they have to go find not only a left guard, but a center as well, whether it be free agency or the draft? So the moves are coming for the Titans. When you signed Harold Landry, the cap hit helps. Cap hit's a little bit more than $5 million. Again, that was reported by Jared Stillman. I think 5.05 the cap hit for Harold Landry. But with him now in the fold, you've got Roger Saffold that's been cut. Kendall Lamb was cut and released earlier today as well. So Kendall Lamb scheduled to make, I think, $3.3 million next year. That was maybe the easiest decision that the Titans had all offseason long. Not a huge surprise they moved on from him. Not a surprise that they're moving on from Roger Saffold either. Will Jackrabbit Jenkins be next? He's kind of that next guy that, you know, he was okay at times last year. I thought played bad at times last year as well. He's getting older up there. His cap hit could be difficult to swallow next year as well if you're the Titans. So could he be the one that's next when it comes to some roster decisions and some cuts that the Titans might have to make? Going to be interesting to see if that does happen. Does it happen today? Does it happen over the course of the next couple of days? But the Titans addressing their offensive line today. Kendall Lamb cut, Roger Saffold released as well. So now that creates a whole bunch of possibilities heading into the first round of the NFL draft. That's going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Darren Donick and Chase up next. This is ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
Now, you may say, well, of course.